And action. And cut.
I knew you would do that.
That opening is got such, as Kiefer Sutherland would say, gravitas.
Oh, I don't even know what
And
gravitas means.
it just means heaviness. Like,
Mm.
ooh, that was very melodramatic heaviness, very serious subject. Took a long time for people to get that into the zeitgeist, that word. We would use it and not know what it meant very often. We had a nice. Did you listen to the show last night? We had a gaslighting discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Monique described gaslighting exactly like my psychologist did.
Great, and
Very broke it down.
I can't wait for you to use it every other word
I'm
now.
not going to use it.
Thank you.
I'm not going to use it. I'm taking a stand. And the chat and everybody. By the way, everybody in chat that was in there last night, phenomenal job. Everybody was so brilliant last night. I wish I could post and read everything, but it's just a little too vast during those gunk. This is a little more intimate. This one. This is a little more distilled down to something. And it's almost easy to give exclusivity to whomever you want, which is what I'm about to do. Welcome. By the way, Sarah, before I do, I love that background. How did you design that? It is as if Aquaman himself took over Gotham City and stole the bat signal right in front of, and just Batman's on some find himself sabbatical with Ra's al Ghul, and Aquaman's manning the duties in Gotham City, and he has his own aqua signal.
It's driving me crazy because your trident is off center there.
I
I
got to
need to,
try that. That's pretty centered.
and
That's.
I hear it's a little to the right. Just
I told you the story, right, about getting caught by the neighbor doing yard work,
yes,
playing
pole vaulting
Aquaman.
on your
This
trident.
is this is 3 years ago. I was doing yard work for my mother with she had to dig a tree out or some, which is a real tedious thing, and I had this really long shovel, and so I'm just getting bored, and
Hmm.
it's tired. It was tedious, right in the middle of the summer, so I took a break, got the headphones on, huge 50-ounce glass of ice, and I'm kind of looking around. No one's around, and I just had this urge to like play Aquaman with the trident. So I take the shovel and I'm whizzing it around the top of my head, and you do the thing where you
Oh,
making the sound effects. I have headphones on, so I'm completely oblivious to anything else that's going to happen at that point. Um, and I'm doing it, so I get the urge, and I'm like, yeah, why not? So I do the pole vault move where you put the trident on the ground and then do like a swinging kick off the trident. And I look to the left, and my mother's neighbor's staring at me through the fence. I couldn't hear anybody like assemble after that. I thought the
he's
coast was, and he really great guy. He's such a sweet guy. He just gave me that sort of aw shucks look and looked down like pretending he didn't see me, and I know he saw me.
calling in a 5150 on you.
That's that's what Van Halen meant by that 5150.
I don't even. That might be like that word we can't say. Uh, that act that they say we promote on YouTube if we say the word. I can't say what it is. But it's an act of violence against oneself, I
Okay,
believe.
that was part of the.
Yeah.
So thank you, A Smith, for the. Was it super chat? I don't
Yes.
even.
Sticker chat. All the
Oh, I got to
same.
run the grifting banner.
Yes, we need to
Okay,
grift.
it's
It's
on
the
the
beginning
back.
of the month.
Who we got? It's Scott Balo. Welcome, sir. You'll be back soon. Melvin, welcome, sir. Phenomenal job in the chat last night, sir, with all your intel and jokes. Melvin's a great joke writer as well. Everybody is here. Hooper, 45, welcome. Smitty set the line for me tonight. I'm dying here.
Oh, you
Says,
bet that you are always
oh, okay, they have the Vegas
late.
line on me being late, right?
And I want you all to know
ARM time.
the only reason he's on time is because I am pushing him to start. He will tell me with a minute to go, I got to get ice. Okay.
On Radio Gunk, we get so wrapped up in that pre-chat that we forget to go on. I'm sure people will verify. We've like 10 minutes. We'll just forget to go on. And it's that old thing, that old gag about how, oh, you should hear us when we're not on. Like the repartee is better when you're not doing the show than it is, which is bullshit. You just let it. Who are we? We don't have Tom Chiasano. We'll just let it
Mm-hmm.
roll. I think Bon Jovial, there he is, will back me up on that. And by the way, Sarah, I cannot get enough of this, and I'm going to play this. I don't give a shit how
What?
apropos it is. I
Oh no.
absolutely love this. I love all your compilations, and I can't wait for the updated ones on what do I do with it? It's in the Stanhope Friday is this folder I have. It's called Stanhope Friday. Nice and simple. And this is what I
Or
love.
Sunday.
I love this.
Oh no.
Australia is a wonderful island with a treasure trove of unique plants, animals, and people.
That's a knife.
It has to be protected.
Australia is free of many pests and diseases that are commonplace around the world.
That's a sign of aggression. You can see how she's got her mouth slightly ajar. She's got her teeth showing.
Declare everything when you enter Australia.
Australia.
Got to let you know you're one of my kind.
Did you have it in your mind to use Michael Hutchence because he was friends with Depp?
No, he's Australian. That's the only reason I used
I didn't.
it.
He's 3 years older than Depp. You know, Hutchence would be 62 today. He was
Yeah.
born in 1960.
Yeah. That's a sad story, isn't it?
Very Viper Room staple, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
Very-
story with him? I don't know it as well as you. Michael Hutchence
He
in excess.
had a tumultuous a tumultuous and volatile often relationship with Bob Geldof, the man behind Live Aid, because Michael Hutchence was banging Polly Yates, Geldof's wife. He got Polly Yates pregnant. They had a baby later on, Tiger Lily Hutchence. Anyway,
Oh my God. Is that the origin of her nickname?
what?
Our Tiger
No,
Lily. Did
I
she
doubt
use that
it.
as who knows with her?
Maybe, who knows? But anyway, he was told that Geldof told Hutchins, I'm trying to remember, I'm so sorry, that Polly Yates could no longer see their children, Bob Geldof and Polly Yates' kids. He was going to put a stop to that joint custody. So that threw Hutchins into a depression, apparently. Also, along with an accident he was involved in where he hit his head on a curb and he lost his sense of taste and smell. And he was very much into the essence of a woman, let's say.
How is Michael Hutchence with the drugs?
Drugs.
The drugs.
I'm sure he did a lot of drugs. I gotta
You know a
bone up
lot.
on
You
that
know a
story.
shitload about gossip. 80s and 90s gossip. I don't think anybody beats you.
No, I
It's
just went
crazy.
through all those behind the musics. You learn
yeah.
so much in the early
So underrated.
2000s. Oh, great
Are they
era
all
of reality
available on
TV.
YouTube?
Yeah, you can find them.
It's amazing what VH1 morphed into playing videos. Then that was what they did. Then they kind of stopped, or they went 50% videos, then stopped and then it was all reality shows. Then it was like Breaking Bonaducci and My Fair Brady. I mean, to rattle off those reality shows that were on VH1, I would love to see a master list because they came and went so fast. I don't think I could even.
Flavor of Love, I
Yeah,
Love New
yeah.
York. I had those all on DVD. When I bought them on DVD, I didn't know that 2 years later we could get them whenever we wanted, wherever we wanted them. So I spent
Gunga
too much money on them.
Gunga Din, welcome. Babs DeRush, welcome. Always good to see you.
Yeah, and Affy's already making fun of me.
Is it? By the way, I want to apologize to Steph Taylor, because she said you made a defaming ginger comment about red hair, and you said she took it out of context. And I have this really, really attractive redhead who is the double nickel at the end of this, and with Doug Stanhope from the Head of the Class cast. I think her name is Christine Haji.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Melvin.
I was saying, if I recall correctly, I don't care if you have red hair. I don't look good with red hair. Look at the avatar. It does not look good.
No, some broads can pull it off, and
I
some
cannot.
can't.
So
There's some Christina Hendricks, and
you just like her cans.
No, she's. I think she's actually a natural brunette, if I'm not mistaken. She's fucking Jessica Rabbit. Right? She's not a real life Jessica Rabbit, Christina Hendricks.
I don't know.
The broads from Game of Thrones. There's a gaggle of. We did an F Mary Kill with Angie Everhart, Marcy Turk, and goddamn, why can't I think of Biden's press secretary? Why can't I think of her name? Oh, God, I can't believe
I
Barbara DeRush is a natural redhead. You know, Babs DeRush is a fucking knockout.
mm,
DeRush, rush, hurry, hurry, Barbara, come to me. Who am I? Michael Hutchins died by hanging himself, pleasuring himself.
that was
That's
a
true.
rumor. I don't know if there was proof
Simultaneously.
of that. They also said that about Chris Cornell though too, and I don't see that. That he
Oh
was
my
trying to
God.
jerk off. I don't. That's not. Yeah, Jen Psaki.
Jen Psaki, right? So we did an F Mary kill with the three of them, and I think what did I do? I married Angie Everhart because I want the Howard
Oh,
secrets, and
you want her laying in bed all
she
day?
sleeps till 1 in the afternoon. Yes, I love her sleeping her nocturnal night habits.
Oh, you'll get up
F
at the same time.
Jen, yes, F Jen Psaki and kill Marcy Turk. I was on the fence of switching Psaki and um Angie because I could become
Oh,
Mister um uh the first arm. What's the term for
yeah.
first lady? What would you call
I think
first
it's first
guy?
gentleman.
First gentleman? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It
She
doesn't
could
really
be president
flow.
someday. I feel like she could be president someday.
Okay.
She has the swagger and the moxie to do it, I feel.
I'll think good thoughts.
Oh, you hate her too. You hate her
I don't
too.
like any
She's
of
on your
them.
shit list now.
I
Now
don't like
Jen
any
Psaki's on
of
your shit
them.
list. She's
None of them
she's
have
actually
my
really
best
good at her.
interest in mind.
I don't
So
believe
F
that.
them. It's all a game.
I thought there's Fudsicle. Welcome, Fudsicle. We don't see you often live in the chat. Get the stuttering John, of course. Hope everyone's doing great. Happy Labor Day weekend to you as well. Fudsicle had a great comment on one of the things. We got to go read the comments from the videos. She said she loved that I learned the word moot from Rick Springfield's Jesse's Girl.
Yeah.
And so then I thought about it. That's not the only word I learned from Rick Springfield. I learned the word continental from Don't Talk to Strangers in addition, Fudsicle. That's not the only one. I swear to God, I did not know what continental meant
That's weird.
until. Do you remember the line in Don't Talk to Strangers? It goes, "Some slick continental dude, I'm
No.
begging you, please don't talk to strangers." He says continental, and I think it's one of the only times continental's ever been used in a song. So I looked it up, and thank you, Rick Springfield from Moot and
You were
Continental.
way into him.
Thank you, Bonnie Raitt. That's an Aussie too, by the way. We always leave him out of the Aussie mix.
For good reason. He's a
What the
good behind the
heck?
music, by the way.
What's his pathos and heartache? Is there any story? Does he have a story?
General Hospital,
Right?
briefly. That's all I really remember
Does
because
he
I really
have
don't
like a
care about him.
downward spiral of any kind,
Of
or
course, they all do.
okay?
He's
And,
playing like state fairs and county fairs for a while. I think he probably still is.
I think it started because I learned the word patronize from Bonnie Raitt's "I Can't Make You Love Me," which
You
is
always
your
try to like
theme
stab
song.
me in the chest, don't you?
So tell everybody the
No, I've
story
done it
behind.
100
I don't have
times.
you.
Yes.
Jones Rooney, welcome, sir. There's Afi. Welcome, Afi. I thought I saw Gina Bobina in there somewhere. I did. There she is. Gina, welcome to the. I want you to tell everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Nymphosi family. Welcome to the Crypto Nymphosi family. That should be her intro to every. Barbara DeRush. I'm a big Rick Springfield fan. See, I'm not necessarily a fan, but who the fuck doesn't know his playlist through osmosis?
I know one song.
You're a fan. You love all those soap operas. You love all those swarthy soap opera
I
dudes.
didn't care about him.
You love Darky. And what was his name?
Blackie. Oh my
I'm sorry.
God. Just stop talking.
Stamos was what was Springfield's name on the?
I don't know. I didn't watch it in
I don't
his
believe
era.
you.
I
don't
didn't.
believe you.
I didn't even watch the Blackie era, so I started
Lauren
up in the mob
Marie,
era.
welcome, Lauren. Welcome, Lauren. And you're Lauren's such a cinephile. She's just what's the next? There's Ben 4810. I said, do we say hi to him? Michael Hutchins, of all the women in the world, he chooses Paula Yates.
Yeah.
And boy, he had his choices, right?
He could have had anybody, and he loved to pleasure a woman. That's all I'm going to say. And when he lost all of his senses, smell and taste, deep dark depression he went into for the rest of his days.
He had COVID before COVID.
No. I want to say something before I forget.
Oh, being Tom Sizemore, Ace, I forgot about that. By the way, Sizemore is one of the guys in Depp's building, in the
Mhm.
Eastern Columbia building. It was Tom Sizemore, it was Stamos, and somebody else I'm forgetting. I think it was Melvin who showed me the master list. There's one person I'm forgetting who is fairly well known.
Let me break
It-
in for a second.
No, go
We
ahead.
are now on Spotify.
Yeah.
We are now on iHeartRadio. We are now on Amazon Music. We have a few others that are I'm waiting on approval from iTunes. Says we're on there, but I can't find it, so I got to dig a little deeper. I'm sure it's there. Yeah, but anyway, if you want to just get the audio only and not avoid this YouTube trap, I don't blame you. Just
We've
go.
been asked that for months. It was
Mm-hmm.
like the kind of Pellels of the world, I think. I was Hooper and Pellel. I always lump them together sometimes. That's great company to be in. And I don't know what it was, out of laziness or
What?
thinking it was too visual, or that's the problem you fall into if you make stuff too visual. It doesn't translate to that stuff, to those platforms.
In other words, it was Arm's job to get this set up, and I set it up. The end.
But I have 30 converted videos to MP3 in that trust. So you're putting them up little by little. What are there? There's like 5 up right now on each
There's 8 up
platform.
right now, so I'm going to put up a whole bunch more. I have 3 days to do it.
Thank you, Fudsicle. Oh, my Dr. Noah
Noah Drake.
Drake over
Yep, that was
here.
it.
See, if you inverted Drake, you have Darky. It could almost be
Oh my
Stamos.
god. And I do want to announce to anybody listening to our podcast who owns a company or anything, I will even read advertisements for Dianetics. I have no shame. You will never believe I don't believe in the product.
I'll do it as Alec Baldwin.
Absolutely. We'll do it. We'll sell Dianetics for you, Scientology.
Did you listen to Gunk last night? We played a clip from our friends from the bonfire, who did a 21 Jump Street attempted pod. And I was mentioned, I was on there a few times. And they brought attention to the Pelican brief on Sirius's air. You wait for it. I wouldn't be surprised if that show is gone by next week. It's the first time. So anyway, I've been, you recommended the Scientology videos to me, with Lee Remini and Mike Renda and the Sea Org, David Miscavige and the Sea Org. That's all he explains things so succinctly. Anyway, the nomenclature and terminology they use in Scientology, I don't think I'm overstepping any bounds when I say that getting things done shit at the Pelican Brief is every bit as creepy as Scientology. That Friends of the Court shit, Sarah, is exactly the way Scientology is framed, what I'm watching anyway. It is so many similarities. I used to say this without even knowing that much about Scientology.
Isn't that just like I don't know enough about the Marcy Turk stuff. So
You
isn't that
watched it 100 times. You were part of the
I
leak
know
of the
that, but I don't know
court.
enough about the getting things done. Is a really stupid name for a cult, though. Not that
But
Scientology is a cult.
Friends of the Court?
I
Friends
don't
of the
know.
Court. Think about that phrase.
It's probably a
Friends of
Howard
the
thing
Court.
more than a her
Friends
thing.
of the Court
Okay,
is
great.
creepier than Scientology. I need you to sign off on this. Don't dismiss
Okay, I
this.
sign off on this.
Oh, God. Sariana Huffington in the house.
I
Here she
didn't huff.
goes.
Oh my god. Slurp
Anyway,
harder.
Patreon.
Wipe your tears.
I want to tell everybody we have a Patreon, and it's the lowest tier, and it's where all the stuff goes that can't be put on YouTube. It's blocked for whatever reason.
Which is
It's whatever
everything
you
now.
want to. It's the lowest tier, whatever you want to do it. So I am guarantee you the next thing I'm putting up now is the entire Doug Stanhope Howard repartee leading into the Amber Heard Depp stuff. Because that was really fucked with the first time. We had to edit it. It wasn't, I mean, that's the way when they block something, I'll take that over any other strike, like the way so this leads me to, I want to apologize to everybody for Monday night. Our stream got taken down. I'm sure you figured it out. I don't know if we posted an apology after that. In the middle of the overhauling. a knockoff, Punked meets Pimp My Ride show. You don't deserve to have a fucking copyright. It's not even your idea. It's a knockoff. You ripped it off of Ashton fucking Kutcher. You should be embarrassed just by that. You don't deserve to levy a copyright. So you know it's Amber Heard's lawyers completely embarrassed by that thing. They want it scrubbed. Everything about that makes her look shitty. Depp looks great during it. He doesn't look great during everything. He looks great during this. She looks, and it's such a, it's at his Depp's personal garage, and there's a reason why you can't find that, and I want to thank Johnny Bye Bye for finding it for us.
We'll have it up on that other platform.
But we're going to circle back to it. I've narrated the David Kalaki, who's executive producer of Overhauling, his account of Amber Heard when Depp cut her off. His sugar daddiness was cut off, and she wanted him to pay for shit, and it's this creepy back and forth. I have that transcript here. I'm not sure if we're going to do this weekend on Sunday or today. I don't know if it fits in to the Stanhope-ness of it all. I don't know, Sarah. It's up to you. Think we're going to get time for it or what?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to promise anything anymore. So
with Patreon, I'm going to put up the entire Stern Stanhope Depparte, and I'm going to combine it with the first time Stanhope outed his friendship with Depp in 2013. It's really, this conversation has been vetted by lawyers up and down. It is very tough to find. I have it here. We got dinged when we played it the last time, but it wasn't the whole thing. It was like a couple of moments. Right, Sarah? They took out, it was like
took out the
30
entire
seconds.
thing.
No, it wasn't the whole thing.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't the whole thing.
Okay. I saw what it accepted, and they took out the whole thing.
Tonecott 89, welcome, sir. I keep meaning to say hello to you. Damn it, guys! I'm trying to finish up the Radio Gun Gary podcast unless I got this notification. I can't. Just save it for the weekend, Tonecott. You don't have to prove anything to these people. You do it on your own Tonecottian timetable. Take it on a car ride with you. I'm just happy to have you here live at all. Hutchins, love to pleasure a woman. Vegemite, Tim Tams, Fantales, and Violet Crumbles. My God, that is quite a list. That's quite the Aussie knowledge you have there, Ben. 4810. Stamos says Blackie Parrish. Parrish was his last name. God, that fudge stickle. General Hospital stunk. I hated the whole storyline.
I don't even know the storyline.
What's up, Rodney? Good to see you, sir. Standing offer, sir, to sit in the coming weeks. I think you'd fit right in. I hope you take me. I know you're busy or you're kind of erratically available during these times, but you're definitely someone on the list. I think him and G Canada in the same chat would be pretty interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. Who will be along soon, I'm sure.
Scientology says Fudsicle is a cross between multi-level marketing and Jonestown.
Of course.
Well put, Fudsicle.
But I got to sell Dianetics, so everybody shush.
And yeah, the worst part is you're getting Sariana Huffington, and you're the reason why I watched the Scientology.
If they want to
Leah Remini binge watch. What is this, man? Pat McAfee lost his SiriusXM show and let a few serious secrets slip out. Holy shit, Ben. Thank you, sir. I will check that out. I will clip it for Monique and Dominique. I'm calling her Neek now after Dominique. Did you hear that? The new nickname?
No.
After Dominique Wilkins, we're going to call him Monique Neek. I don't know what took us so long. Let a few secrets slip out, but immediately 45,000 listeners on his new daily YouTube show. McAfee, Pat McAfee, just his YouTube. You would think he's the Stern Show. He has the he has the social media statistics that they think Howard has. He's way more popular than Howard is. I think he was on the Mad Dog channel. I can't wait to hear him let loose, Ben. I'm sure he has. Why they let him go? Was it a contract thing? Was it a woke thing? Did he say something crazy? What Howard should be doing or Howard won't do? That's crazy. I'm always suspicious that it's a Howard money thing, that every time you see a big name go, it's because Howard's eating all the money, stealing the budget. Every time. That's my first go-to in every situation like that. That's crazy. I thought he was like a major name on there now. He built a huge. I didn't realize he was such a deft broadcaster, but he's an animal on there.
Mm-hmm. Very popular. I haven't listened to it in years, but it's a pretty good show.
There's just not enough time on this planet to listen to everything. There's too much out. There's too many podcasts. There's too many streaming services. It's just too much. You can't. You got to write a list down and distill it down to your priorities. I can't keep up. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always frustrated
I
in
know.
that way. So here, what do you want to do? You want to start with?
Let's get into it.
Let's do the fluffer here. There's a story I read today, and it's because this is we're sort of in a Depp Stern mode. I'm going to start off with like a little kind of an opening act, as it were.
Mhm.
And there's a story about Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar congratulating one another for their 20 years of marriage, and really going at Howard predicting their doom. This schadenfreude interview he had, where under the fake guise of comedy, where he was dooming their marriage won't pass 10 years, and they very regularly mock him for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the original interview. Get this. This is the original interview from 2001. I pulled it up, and I pulled out the moments of what kind of Howard in that classic schadenfreude, and he's again, the fruit basket hiding in plain sight. And this is Freddie Prinze Jr. in 2001, where Howard wishes doom on his marriage.
His movies. I like teen flicks. I like flicks about good-looking people who. I like when there's.
How did we not think he's gay just by saying that? I know we beat this to death with the gay stuff, but it's just, again, closeted in plain sight, all there for us, and we just couldn't identify it then. Or Gator wasn't hypersensitive enough or something.
No, you're too afraid of your mind tapping into adult emotion.
We just bought his fucking hucksterism bullshit. That statement right there should have tipped you off. I love teen movies with God, and just this sort of pedo thing along with it. He's right there with Spacey.
He wants to watch She's All That on the chance that there is a scene with Freddie Prinze Jr. naked in a high school shower. That's the only reason.
Or tight underwear on or something.
An ugly chick, but turns out to be good looking, and she ends up with Freddie Prinze Jr., or Freddie Prinze Jr. is the ugly guy, and he gets the good looking chick. Any of these scenarios I like.
Work for you. I only like him in the I Know What You Did Last Summer movie.
You like that?
Yes. I like the scary movies.
I don't care about scary movies. I like where good looking people hook up. So
yeah, I know
let's begin with your personal life for a second. You're banging Sarah Michelle Gellar. By the way, it's Gellar. Did you know that?
That's such an unfunny attempt at pun play on just the reductive mispronunciation, trying to like make it more Jewish with the Gellar. It's so not funny, and it's so ineffective to try to be like this self-hating Jewish reverse anti-Semitism. But he's the most sensitive Jew there is, and that hitting that Gellar is the most unfunny, beat to death trope he would do. I fucking hate that.
You've made me aware that
it's not Gellar.
Have been here. No,
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Gellar, yes.
And I haven't seen her in a while.
Right.
But
what is she trying to hide with that Gellar?
Gellar. No, she's a Jewish girl. It's Gellar.
By the way, the only person who says Gellar is Howard.
I know. She told me it's Gellar.
And you're the only one who went along with her.
I love her. She's a sexy broad.
To answer your question, Rodney, yes, she got new lawyers, of course. Bredehoft and Rottenborn are staying on as consultants, as they should.
No.
Bredehoft was there in the UK, so they know
Bredehoft
stuff.
is not staying on. She quit. She was fired. She passed the baton, according to her. She's not a part of the appeal.
Hey, Sariana, she's a consultant. It doesn't mean she's not fired. She's still there, shuttling information.
Okay, she has nothing to do with it. Everybody, all right.
You got it straight from her?
Yes, I did.
Who's your source?
Bredehoft, Elaine.
Okay, I bet.
And
absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, I'd love to bang her. But with the life you have...
You can't say that when I'm in the room.
Sure, why not? You know a lot of guys want to bang her.
Of course, but I don't...
But he's engaged to her.
Are you engaged?
Yeah, we're engaged.
You're going to get married?
Yeah.
When is the wedding?
Come on, man.
Why, do you not announce that?
No.
They don't want the helicopters.
Oh, helicopters. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, they follow us around everywhere. It's impossible.
Yeah, it'll be incredible.
It's like Airwolf.
So she's going to become Sarah Michelle Gellar Prinze Jr.
Welcome, CB. Welcome. Rodney says the Pat McAfee show has always been simulcast. Yeah, I know. He's on the Mad Dog channels, but he was always right. So he's always kind of reminds me of the Jason Ellis thing in a way. I can't wait for him to unleash though. Yeah, he's always been simulcasting. Tone Cot. I thought about this way too long. The episode of Saved by the Bell, a teen Johnny Dakota for a drug-free commercial is based on Depp. Huh? I didn't realize that. Based on and I told you that story, Tone Cot, about DiCaprio and Celebrity. They do a whole vignette about the Kate Moss Depp stuff in the hotel in the mid-90s, and DiCaprio's basically like mocking Depp during it. It's a Woody Allen movie too, by the way, and it's just really stupid. It's horrible. As usual, he looks miscast.
Yeah, the junior is definitely she's throwing that in.
Junior too?
Yeah. Well, she's Prinze Jr.
It's in the deal. It's in the deal.
Well, she becomes Sarah Michelle.
McAfee signed $100 million, according to Rodney. I believe him, with DraftKings, which makes a lot of sense. Not that should lead to, I don't know, Sirius has some conflict with Draft. It's so confusing, the whole fucking thing. Somehow DraftKings can't cross over to Sirius or something.
Prinze?
Probably. Yeah.
She will.
She's gonna get rid of Gellar completely.
Maybe,
No Gellar.
No Gellar. You can make some other thing with the Prinze.
Hey, Fudgesicle, we'll circle back to that when we get to Stanhope. I'm pretty much with Stanhope on, my feelings about it. I'm a drinking coach, so my feelings about AA. But please, can you repost that when we get back to Stanhope after this?
So you will marry her even though you know that it won't last. No, that it won't last. And
Oh,
you
yeah,
know why?
absolutely it'll
You're a
last.
good-looking guy. How old are you now?
25.
All right, dude.
You better get a hold of him,
He looks
right?
so sad. He's like,
I think I got to give you the speech.
Give me the speech.
You have no idea how young you are.
Now think about the year this is, Sarah. Right, it's 2001.
Mhm.
Right, this is the rotating Jackie chair period. Howard is projecting here. He divorces. Well, he didn't really out his divorce. November of '99 is when he announced his separation. We think they were done 2 years before that.
Mhm.
So he's projecting no one's allowed to be happily married. And this is not out of comedic. He's rooting for their marriage to fail, and it's just done. This is everyone that comes in there. It's the same rap. It's the same shit. Your marriage, and I love that Prinze and Sarah Michelle Gellar regularly rub that. Almost if you go back, they do this every year. We just didn't catch it. I went back and they do this. This isn't new. They always do this. There's like constant videos of them. So there's a $1 million bet. So here we go.
You think you know everything.
No, I don't.
Because I thought I knew everything.
But I don't think that, I promise.
Yeah, but you think...
You think you know enough to get married?
You think you're going to know how you feel at 35. You're going to be a completely different dude at 35 than you are at 25.
It should be completely...
Chris Tonecott 89 says Christy Swanson will always be my Buffy. Wasn't Luke Perry in that original movie, Sarah?
Yes, he was. That was like his second movie in the 90210.
He did. I don't
Era.
know why I fucking remember this. Did he do a movie called
8
Terminal
seconds.
Terminal Bliss or
I don't
something?
know.
Terminal Velocity or Terminal Bliss, and it was made like before 90210, and they put it out.
Oh yeah, he had a weird movie where he was like an abusive man or something.
I think it was I think it was a high school movie.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I'm talking about then.
But I remember they put it out because of 90210. They were never going to release it, and they only released it because.
Yeah, he plays like he assaults his wife.
Okay. He's married in the thing? Okay, I thought it
He
was like a high
assaults a
school
woman.
movie.
I don't know, girlfriend, whatever.
Christy Swanson. Wasn't Paul Rubens in that as well?
I don't know.
The original Buffy? I can't. Can you
Oh
believe
yeah,
they
yeah,
made
yeah. It was in the movie. Absolutely.
They made a successful TV show out of that movie. Can you
Mhm.
believe that?
I hate
That's
that movie.
that's what's his name? Josh, from the Justice League director that did that. Who's got all sorts of crazy conflicts with the Justice League cast, and oh my God, he directed Avengers, for Christ's sake, and it's just the whole world turned against him in this 1.5 year of it's crazy.
Different woman, but
Yeah,
it's all
and
good.
you
That's
will
right.
probably
It's
talk
all
to each
good.
other through lawyers.
Should be a way different woman.
No, she's awesome. I'm telling you, she's.
I
Awesome.
think she's a great girl and
She is a great
sexy
girl.
and everything else.
Yeah, she's super hot.
She's not. How old is she?
24.
She ain't gonna be 24 forever. You know that. And you're
Yes,
gonna
I
be
know that.
Freddie Prinze Jr. You have a big film career. You're gonna be going from movie to movie. You're gonna be on sets with very beautiful
But she'll
women.
be a big movie star too. So once the
Well,
show's
yeah,
over, she'll
but-
be a huge movie star.
Yeah, but girls don't last as long as guys.
Yeah, maybe not. But
They
it's
can
all
go
good.
sour in 5 years. She at 30, she could be going sour.
She's gonna be just fine.
Not every woman.
Thank you, Ben. McAfee said Sirius wouldn't let him know what the listener figures were. I love that. I go to that all the time. That's a Howard mandate because they know how embarrassingly low Howard's figure. If you could find the stats out, Howard would lose all leverage that he's some kind of 800-pound pelican gorilla. He's probably not even in the top 10 of listenership in Sirius.
Mhm.
That's why they won't let. That's the only reason you can't find it out. Believe me. Look at Brendan with a great. Remember this one, Sarah? The Artie Lang story about his uncle Sonny. Jew broad fights Draculas. Do
Yeah.
you believe that story, or you think it's
No.
made up? I don't either.
I didn't believe
There's no
anything
one.
he said. Especially watching the basketball game story where he screams out a bad word, or his uncle somebody screams out a bad word. I don't. Maybe
How about
that.
this?
I don't know.
Artie's what you call about this. We say this about Amber Heard and Bert Kreischer and the like. We got to make a list of these people. Fabulists.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a guy who, as I understand, I learned this word during the trial. Who it doesn't have to be a guy. Beth's a fabulist, a basic bitch fabulist. You're always at the center of every controversy and every crazy story. Everywhere you go, controversy and crazy stories follow you. Somehow, all this insane stuff happens to happen to you, and you always have a story for every situation. A
Isn't that
fabulous
just like
story where you're the victim.
histrionic?
Histrionic is a lot like, yeah, it's all in the same. But Artie, there's a lot of that comic exaggeration, you might want to call it. But do you believe the story of Artie with the Ash Wednesday when he was betting and he had the guy had ashes on his
No, and I
shirt?
got to tell you, that was a famous clip of it was deemed like the funniest story ever. And if you watch it or listen to it, Howard's laugh is so fake.
Oh, I know. I know. It's the worst laugh.
I never found I never found Artie this god that everybody else did. I don't know.
Because you love Jackie so much.
I did love Jackie a lot.
You don't want it. You could not accept anything in that rotating Jackie period.
Jackie got me through those mornings in the 90s.
It's Heather Locklear. Honestly.
she's doing just fine.
What I'm saying is that you will change. And by the way, I'm not even talking about the superficial about looks. I'm talking about you're going to be a different guy. You're going to be in a whole different place.
Thanks, Dad.
At 35. Well,
Yes,
you do
you
need a dad.
Stone Cut is an interesting observation about Sarah Michelle Gellar. She made the WB famous with a teen show, just like Depp made Fox famous with his teen show.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. I
Interesting. I
agree.
go with that. I completely agree with that. Never thought of that.
I blame
That's
her
at-
then for the WB.
which morphed into the CW, and it got
Did
even
it?
pretty.
Oh,
It got even
God.
prettier. It got even when it went to CW. It got even like
You
more like twinkish.
mean the
and prettier and
CW
less
who ruined
body
The
hair.
Flash?
Isn't the whole cast gay? Or
I
at
don't
least
know.
everyone's it's all
That was the
woked out.
worst. Arrow was fine. Then The Flash. Oh, God.
Oh, that's the worst Oliver Queen ever.
Oh, I
No
agree.
pun.
I agree.
Oh,
But
he's nothing like the characterization should be.
I loved Manu Bennett as Deathstroke, though. That was
They
great.
said, I read this thing about that, and they didn't even call it Green Arrow. They call it, "Oh, you're too cool to say Green Arrow.
Yeah.
You're too cool to say Green Arrow." That they're actually portraying. It's basically Bruce Wayne. It's written as Bruce Wayne instead of Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
Like that version of Green Arrow is written as Bruce Wayne. And it's
Mhm.
not. I mean, Oliver Queen is like kind of goofy and super duper liberal and crazy outspoken and a lot of. It's they portray him nothing like the real Green Arrow.
I would agree with you. You know more about that character than I do, but I
do.
enjoyed the series
I
overall.
love the Green Arrow comic book. He's
Season
actually
2 of
great
that
in it.
show was great.
I know. This is true. Pat McAfee's a goddamn punter. Who listens to this guy show up on fourth
Thing
down?
I can't stand about him, I get sick of looking at him in that saggy tank top. I don't want to see your armpit hair. It's gross.
Yeah, Kylo Sierra Alpha Jen Psaki taught me the circle back move.
That's your hero, so
The clitoral circle back move.
don't have
Pops.
somebody to talk
I'm going
to
to be
you
your
like
dad.
this.
Well, you were raised by your grandmother.
Yeah.
You don't have a dad.
Where was his
But
mother?
you can do that. You can do that. My mom was around too.
She was a wild child, but
Oh, really?
Yes.
Freddie was.
Thank you, Dorian. I just, I think I find myself Joss Whedon, obviously, is the Buffy directed Avengers, and he was a Buffy creator and all this, and he had this crazy where the whole Justice League cast turned against him for abuse stuff, and it's insane. The guy who played Cyborg, and it just that they all kind of turned on him. It's a really weird thing. He directed Avengers, and it did massive, massive business, and he was like the hero, obviously with Favreau and Kevin Feige. And then DC and Warner Brothers decided to bring him in to basically do a carbon copy of Avengers with Justice League. And if you did watch both, it's the same tropes, it's the same beats, it's the same exact script. They just stole the Avengers script and put it into Justice League. Nameless, faceless aliens. There's not a distinct, and basically Loki is the equivalent to Steppenwolf, and the aliens are all the same, and the beats are all the same, and they have little conflicts, and so Joss Whedon just basically ripped himself off for it, and they just all turned on. It's the weirdest thing. It was looking at here. CB writes, Terminal Velocity is awesome. Skydiver action movie, drinking tequila. Joss Whedon, Luke, 8 Seconds, right? That fucking rodeo movie. That was when, right? Luke Perry was in Jason Priestley was in Calendar Girl. And that was that the thing where he was, he went to live with a gay guy in the Hamptons? No, it's different.
You know more about it than I do. I just
there was
know
some
that it
movie
was
came out-
loosely based on Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
Is he getting into? I want to get back to this video, but is he getting into was your father Freddie Prinze jealous of you, and that's why he did what he did?
Not yet.
Okay.
Lauren Marie says, my friends and I saw Buffy the movie in the theater 4 times when it first came out. She saw Ninth Gate 8 times, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer the film 4 times. That is a cinephile.
She's a super wild child.
Yeah. I mean,
No way.
Your mom's still around?
Yeah, my mom.
She is still around.
Yeah, they both live in LA.
But your grand.
I've seen Sarah recently, Kylo. She looked good. I think she holds up pretty. That's a Tiger Lily female crush, by the way. I don't know. I didn't think she hit the wall. The ones I saw, she looked really good.
Grandmother's more like your mother.
My grandmother was like, my grandmother and my mother both, but my grandmother was like my granny, and she was like, she was gonna make sure that I was gonna end up okay, and like took me.
But
to
this
church.
was like,
I want to make a written bet with you now. In about 10 years, you're going to hunt me down and go, Howard, I owe you money.
Okay. We'll do a written bet.
Put your money where your mouth is.
I'll do it right now, but we have
$1 million.
How many years before you say it's over?
you only giving him 10?
10. 10's the over-under.
We'll write a contract right now.
See, for $1 million, I'd stay.
Freddie Prinze is insisting on a contract, and he's taking him up on it. And this is stuck in his brain. He reminds me of Louis the Board Op, who we talked about last night. If you want to know what Louis sounds like him and looks like him, isn't Freddie a Howard like twink boy? Perfect. Could you see him jerking off to him in the basement?
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
These movies? Oh my God, he's just such a.
Well, did you hear him? He goes, "Put your money where your mouth is." That's disgusting.
Do that again.
Put your money where your mouth is.
That always sounds like Mark Harris a little bit.
Are you hairless down there, Mr. Prinze Jr.?
Oh, really? Well, why don't you buy me a car and forget it? Oh, are you hairless down there, Mr. Prinze Jr.?
Oh. I'll give you a buttermilk bath.
Why don't you put your mouth in the buttermilk and take a sip?
That's disgusting. You take it too far.
That's a real line from Mark Harris
dialogue.
dialogue. Where's David to verify that? I love CB writes. I love the movie with Ashley Judd and Luke Perry called Normal Life. I don't know if I know that one.
I don't either.
Ashley Judd plays a character named Pam Anderson. That's
God.
I. What year did that come out? Remember Luke Perry and Oz, Sarah?
I love Oz. I got to do another rewatch very soon.
I do too. I was thinking that too. My only problem with Oz was they never went out. There was no yard time, so they shot that in the Kaufman Astoria Studios. I think Silver Cups in Long Island City, I think, Queens. And they never, what prison doesn't go in the yard?
I'm very interested in watching Chris Keller and Brian Bloom get busy in the shower again. That's
Brian Bloom
very nice. Oh my God. He plays Keller's target.
He did the voice
Such a
of
great
Captain
show.
America in
Yeah.
Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
He's in an episode of 21 Jump Street in season 3. He plays a super liberal college student who Holly Robinson is kind of latched onto, and they're going after the Nazi radio show, which
Yeah.
Grieco was on. I don't know if you remember that. That's a Deppless episode, which he turned down. That's one of the scripts he turned down.
Speaking of Oz, what is it? I've always wondered this. What does it say about me that Adebisi is my favorite character?
Oh my! I like Adebisi too. I like Adebisi.
Adebisi is Satan in a beanie, and that's my favorite character.
J.K. Schillinger.
I kind of enjoy him, and I shouldn't. Nobody should enjoy Schillinger, but
Who's the Jewish guy on the? I forget.
It's been a while.
I forget too. I forget his name. And anyway, when Schillinger ran into the first time, goes, "Are you a Hebrew?"
Yeah. Well,
just like with all,
welcome to
in all
Schillinger.
earnestness, not with no irony or no tongue in cheek, just completely earnest, like in a Daniel Carver kind of way. Are you a Hebrew?
Should have said yes. Maybe that would have saved some time.
Keller, I think. Is it Keller? No, Keller.
No,
is,
Keller was God. What's his name from SVU?
Chris Maloney.
Yeah, Maloney. He played Keller. I forget him. I know it's not McManus. That's the prison guy.
No, yeah, McManus. He wasn't the
Anyway.
warden, but he was like the second in. I was behind Chris Maloney at Starbucks on 6th Avenue and like West 4th Street. He's in
Did you
there
do
in a
push-ups?
kimono. No, I didn't talk to him. I didn't. He was with. I thought he was gay. The guy was. It looked gay. It looked like he was with a. Well, it's very close to the West Village, and yeah, Beecher. Oh, thank you very much. And he just looked fruity to me. He looked like he was lighting the loafers. He's wearing a kimono in this Starbucks, and so he ordered some crazy drink that took too long, and the Starbucks employee, he felt, gave him attitude. So he turns. I'm gonna say I don't think he's gay. Maybe he is. I don't know.
No, he's not. He's married.
Okay. He just turns to his friend and he goes, "Hey, you don't like your job? Quit. Don't give me attitude. You don't like your job? Just quit it. Okay, just quit. That's what I do. I just quit." That's what he said to his friend. I was eavesdropping on the thing.
Does he talk like that in real life?
That's what he was like whispering to his friend. "You don't like your job? Quit. That's what I would do. Just quit."
Yeah.
Like he doesn't relate to someone in that moment of just
exactly.
Like
Yeah, just quit. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
no problem.
I'll get me. I was gonna say get me rolling Oz. I'll be your. You can fuck me in the ass on Oz. I think Oz was still on the air. I think it had a couple more years to go. I think it was still going. I should have engaged him, but it was too weird. It's just I couldn't find the opening. Sometimes I couldn't find the opening. If everyone despises Bert Kreischer, I don't despise him, Melvin. I just think he's a thank you, Fudgesicle. Fabulous is a great word. Perfect description. Thank you, Fudgesicle. I just think he's a tryhard, yes, and he's probably a good friend to have, but he's a lie. He's a fabulist, and I can't tell where the lies start and end. And he's like party. He was the original Van Wilder. I think. What's his story is that Rolling Stone did an article on him when he was at his 6th year in Florida State. He's the Ashley Stern of comedians, and basically followed him around for a week with his party lifestyle at Florida State. I think you could still. I think the article is out there somewhere. You could read it. It was before he was, a famous comedian.
Yeah.
Sarah, Mo said on the forum recently that she was going to try to get Jackie to do another Radio Gunk interview. Would you like to write her questions?
I think it's very sad now. So I don't know. I might have.
You don't want to hear from him again?
I don't know. I'm very sad when he's fishing for a laugh on all these podcasts he does interviews on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of fabulous, and I don't think Jackie's remotely a liar. Jackie's a great rock on tour. I think people don't realize, I think Jackie's a great storyteller, and I actually don't care about the fucking Pollock jokes. I like when he tells a long anecdote. I think he's a great rock on tour.
Well, I gotta tell you, one of my prized possessions, and this is a Monique story, was when she went to Jokeland and got me an album from Jackie's house.
Yeah, she's very generous like that.
I still have it in a drawer in the plastic. I will never open it up.
Oh, I'll tell her you said that. I didn't know. That's crazy. I didn't know. I don't even remember that exchange.
Jackie's fingerprints are on that. I don't
Oh
even
my
want to
God.
touch it.
If anyone hasn't been, if you don't know Long Island, Bayville is kind of like North Nassau at the very end on the Sound, and it's a really nice town, like where you can almost like
I
you're
haven't
off
lived
the
there.
grid, and a bridge. It's connected to Oyster Bay in a town known as Oyster Bay, Long Island. Very Billy Joel. And the two towns are kind of interwoven. And I think it's Route 106. You just if you want to go to Jokeland, take Route 106 on Long Island. It's about 20 minutes away from the city, and just head north, and you're in Jokeland. Just
Mhm.
stay over a bridge. It's gonna feel like you're in this crate, but just keep going, and you're basically in Jokeland. This Bayville is a very small town. You can't miss it. And you sent me a video
No, I
of
was gonna say I was gonna wait till you paused, but why don't you put that on Patreon?
the Jackie video.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sarah's talking about there's they posted, some friend of his posted a full blown, would you say that's a labor, like a memorial late post pre, like the Saturday before Labor Day or something?
It could be. They're putting the jetty in the water.
No, it's got to be
So,
earlier than that.
yeah,
It's got to be
Memorial
Memorial
Day.
Day probably. Yeah, it's got to be earlier than that.
And they're cooking lobsters. It's just like it shows you what everything they talked about after
Yes.
returning from every vacation and, whatever party Jackie was having. You get to see exactly what it is. I find it fascinating. Nobody else probably will, but I love that video.
No, I'm with you. I think it's the late 90s. He's still on the show, and you get to see like him having like a cookout. He's having like it's like a lobster and clam bake cookout, and there's burgers and hot dogs, and it's just him.
Yeah.
There's nobody famous. There's no Stern people there but
Well, it's all the
him.
people. It's all the friends that Howard would like talk
Yes.
down.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're
Reductive
peasants.
Howard would never be in the same room as these people.
Jackie in his acid washed mom jeans, the pleated front.
Some of them are local, like some of them are his family, I think, and some of them are just people, friends of his that are
I think so.
local.
Yeah.
And he's playing like what's the classic rock? It's like Steely Dan,
Yeah. Oh.
and all the the Who and Pink Floyd, and
Mm-hmm.
just everybody has that classic rock, the Dinosaur Rock Station, where they play the same 20 songs over. And that's there was actually no, I'm sorry, Billy Joel was played like 3 times, so that's typical to that area.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fascinating because it's just it's how many guys? There's like 12 guys pushing the jetty
probably
along the Long Island Sound into the water, and they show them launching the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie's got a beer while they're doing it,
Of course.
which I was proud of him for. It's kind of it's like 11 in the morning, I think, when they start doing it.
I think this was afternoon.
Oh, you think I was? Yeah, I thought it looked like it was like earlier. I don't know. I can't get a timeline. Brendan writes, Artie is very likable, rock on tour, but his stories are heavily exaggerated or simply made up. Forgivable, his stand-up is terrible, though.
Yeah, agree on both.
Yeah, Brendan, you and Brendan share a brain. You're the same.
Mm-hmm.
He's the fucking male version of you.
Married. So now you
can't be such a good bet.
Yeah.
Right.
So you met Sarah Michelle Gellar. You were friends for a while.
Friends for 4 years. Yeah.
And then you started banging her.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was
Boy, she must be good in the sack to get a kid like you. I mean, you got the whole world at your.
She's the best. Sarah's
the best.
Yeah, Sarah's the best.
What is she doing?
She's
Dirty Sanchez.
Oh, get out.
No.
I mean, what is
He's
she
not
doing?
at that age. He doesn't need that yet.
Blumpkins.
Freddie Prinze Jr. is a rare breed of super duper like doesn't have a mean bone in his body. Married to the same broad for 20 years. You never hear one bad word about him.
He's a stay-at-home dad.
Stay-at-home dad.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody was like him, Hollywood would be a great place.
What? I mean, what could she be doing?
She's awesome. She's the absolute best.
Not a very talented actor or anything like that, but who cares? He's almost like Keanu Reeves, where you just you root for him because he just has all these great innate qualities.
Mm-hmm.
Although if I knew Sarah Michelle Gellar gave Blumpkins, I'd marry her.
Oh.
No, you can't.
What is it? Don't even tell me.
I'm telling you.
I like not knowing.
Yeah, don't know.
Who's prettier, you or Sarah Michelle Gellar? I can't even decide.
Fight over the marriage.
Affy goes, Arm wants to see some prison basketball. Oh my! I'm so tough on basketball scenes, Affy, and TV and movies. I can't watch them. I can't. I can tell by the way someone catches a ball on an inbound that they can't play. Just simple, just check the ball at the top of the key. I can tell they can't play just off the catch. I can tell, oh, he can't play. Just by, because when you catch a ball, like as a real basketball player, you kind of do this thing where you casually grab it with one hand and slap it down. You know the actor who catches the ball with two hands, Sarah, and they slap it together and like, okay, he can't play. That's all I need.
Let me pause you for a moment. Jones Aruni, thank you and bless you for the 1999. Thank you very much.
Can't stay for the rest of the show. That sucks. Jones Rooney looks like a young Anthony Michael Hall in that avatar. Unless I can only see.
I can't
he's
even
a cross
see it.
between Serpico and Donnie Brasco and Anthony Michael Hall in that shot. Is it what the hell is Serpico's first name?
All I can tell you from that photo is better jeans than what Jackie wore in that video.
Oh, totally. Who wouldn't kill for that Jones Rooney mane? The Jones Rooney follicles. Stu in his Stu Chrysler reference by Brendan. Who my Stu Chrysler over here and fucking Capizios? Fine.
I'm happy I don't even know what a Capizio is.
It's an old dancing. You remember Bill Murray did a sketch on
no.
It's a dancing gear that they used to wear, like I can't. Is it sneakers or leggings or something? Capizios? Sneakers, right? Or
I don't.
Oh God, I forget. Lobsters in the garage.
Garbage
I don't
can.
know much. I don't know much about Mastic. Mastic is not a nice area. Don't cut. And you know that it's not a nice area. Mastic is a trashy. It's what an inbred. I guess it's Salem, Long Island, Sarah. It's Long Island's version of Salem.
There's only one bad part of Salem, and I live in it.
Okay.
So yeah, don't shit on Salem.
But it has an ocean, and the ocean is just as good as the Hamptons. It's the same ocean. The Hamptons acts like there's this velvet rope around their ocean where they get some magic Brita filter in their water. It's the same ocean. You don't get better water because you hang out with George Stephanopoulos and Michael J. Fox. It's the same ocean.
You mean that lake you call an ocean out there?
It's so erratic, the surf. The Long Island, the last 10, 20 times I've been to the ocean, I've been very disappointed.
Well, I got Hamptons webcams on my YouTube suggestion feed, and I'm like, where's a wave? I'm waiting for a wave.
Yeah, you watched that too. I noticed that too. Right.
It's like I
watched that a lot. Yes. The water is not clear. The best beach I've ever been to is South Carolina, North Carolina. It was like the border. It's kind of like the Myrtle Beach area. I went in that water and it was as pristine and as clear as I've ever seen. It was like a whole gaggle of. It was like Sean Kemp's kids pissed in the pool. It was so warm. It was 70 something degrees. You never wanted to get out, but it was enough to cool you off.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfection. And you were so right. I saw that same cam. And the Hamptons had that murky swamp thing water. I'm like, that is not good ocean.
You gotta see the Oregon coast. I'll treat you nice.
Show us the video on Patreon, Sarah.
Okay.
Did you take a video of it?
I got 100 videos of it.
Okay. I think a lot of people haven't seen a good shot of the Pacific like that, especially in the Pacific Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
Oz. Now I rewatch. Yeah, we all want to rewatch Oz. I agree with you, Babs. I'm due for a rewatch of that. I'm with a 2022 set of eyes. We're gonna wrap it up with Mr. Prinze here soon. But
I don't know. I think
that's every morning. Get out of the way! I'm trying to look at myself.
You're a good-looking couple. I saw her on a date years ago at a Chinese restaurant. I was in LA doing business, and
yeah, what business, right? That's the Angie Everhart period. That's Son of the Beat, that mysterious LA shit, late 90s, Angie Everhart probably cheating on Allison, who knows?
Yeah.
I went to some Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, she told me about it.
She was on a date with the ugliest guy. You know,
no, it was a friend of hers.
Oh,
and he's gay.
Oh, he's gay? Yeah, he's an ugly gay guy.
Yeah, she was.
No, he's a nice guy.
He was not that. I was like, I can't believe that's who she's with. See, I should have known it was some gay dude.
Oh, good call, Melvin. Jones already does look like the lead singer of Queens of the Stone Age. A little Craig Kilborn in there as well. That's a good call, Melvin. I forgot about that guy. He's a Depp associate as well.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, I know what you're
Yes,
talking
that's a
about.
good call. There he is. That's a great call, Melvin. That's a great compliment as well for Jones Rooney.
A lot of these actresses are into gay dudes.
Well, when
Yeah,
they can't
she's
find
totally
a guy.
into it.
Yeah.
Now you just bought a house for like $3 million, right?
Yeah.
Now she's moved into that already.
This is what I want with Howard. I wish, and the bigger the star you are, like a Mick Jagger, he needs to have you on the show so bad that you can do anything to him. As I need that to be turned around on him with the money thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I want, like, if Jagger were to do that, or if he has, like, say, Brad Pitt on, or someone, anybody, DiCaprio, anybody who's been pining to get all this time, and they turn the money thing around on him like that, and just refuse to answer questions until Howard talks about his money and what he paid for stuff. Just refuse to talk until he answers money questions. And they could get away. The more famous you are, the more you can get away with that. I wish more people would do that. I wish I could coach. I wish I had the access to some huge A-lister that I could do that and make Howard talk about his money. Do like a standoff with him.
Mm-hmm.
No, we stay at her house, and that house is more for fun and parties and stuff like that.
Let me understand that.
Look at that.
Your house.
I need to understand that. So I can make sure I'm making more money than you. That's what he's doing. I need to understand that just so I know that I'm doing better than you. Tonecott 89. O&A used to have a mastic moment segment where they would report on all the weird crimes in there, like Florida and the South. You remember that, Sarah?
No.
Opina, I listen to that show off and on. I have not heard that segment. I would like to hear it though. That's a really funny segment to have. I don't know. I've never heard it though.
Is the house that you live in, and then her house is the party house.
No.
It's the other way around.
Her house is where we live, and my house is the party.
The party house.
Yeah.
25, if you're living like that, you think you can get married.
Yeah. I just,
I'm
you know what?
completely deluded.
You know what? I'm glad you're getting married. Because you know what? You need to have a hassle in your life.
Yeah.
You know.
Melvin said, "Hey Sarah, online it says the park under the bridge comes from the Willamette West
Willamette.
Salem. It's really good."
Let me
It's really
educate
great.
y'all on how we say things here.
Melvin looking up the idiosyncrasies. of
I'm going to
Salem.
educate you a little bit. It is Willamette, and it is Oregon. It is not Willamette, or Oregon. And yes, Melvin, you are correct. But the positive, that park's always been weird. But the positive thing is, it's basically a little campground now in the middle of the city, like every city.
You defend that state to the death.
That park is disgusting. I have to drive by it to get to my lawyer's office, and it's an experience every time.
Is it true? Is it true? And I got this off my research people, and I'm not afraid to ask you the hard-hitting questions. Is it true? Is it true? You went to the same college as Rick Adelman,
Yes, I
the
did.
former Portland Trailblazers and Sacramento Kings coach. Is that
Correct.
true? Wow, so I was right about that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the school again? I can't pronounce it.
Shemeketa.
Shemeketa?
And that's all the information I'm going to give out about myself. Thank you for doxing me.
Okay. Oh, now you're saying you might as well say gaslight. I hate doxing as much as I hate gaslighting and ghost and all these stupid fucking internet terms we're all supposed to know now.
Yeah.
I can't and won't use them. Dox this. So it's
Drew Show, thank you for the 5. Appreciate it more than all of you know. Again, you've always contributed. Appreciate it.
Rodney.
Do you fear Mount Jefferson going Mount St. Helens and dumping Salem full of ash or worse? I'll pray for you, Sarah and Red Bar. Well, thank you. Red Bar needs more prayers than I do, I think, right now. But no, I don't fear it. If it happens, it happens.
Is that a constant fear you live with?
No, it happened like I wasn't that old. I was very young, but Mount St. Helens erupted, and we were covered in ash for a bit. But that's the world we live in.
Maybe my
Volcanoes
favorite.
erupt.
Can I tell you my favorite Western Conference playoff series of all time?
No.
Real briefly.
No.
I
don't think that's possible for you.
You versus Rodney. So I don't know if you know where I'm going with this. 1990, Portland Trailblazers, San Antonio Spurs, round 2, went 7 games, and that was when the Spurs had this treat. David Robinson was a rookie, and immediately, like, he was a 25-year-old rookie because he had the Navy. Right out of the gate, the Spurs were like phenomenal. It was like Cummings at power forward, Sean Elliott, Rod Strickland, Willie Anderson, and that was a phenomenal starting five. And that series went 7 games, and boy, is it fun.
True.
Yeah, I think that just like matchup for matchup, it's just the best of the best in the Western
I
Conference.
will say anytime that Portland, and it was really like the same 3 teams in that era that Portland played in the playoffs in the West, was Phoenix, San Antonio, and Utah. That was pretty much it. But every time we would play one of those teams, I wanted to throw up for a period of about 3 weeks. So that says something about the team we were playing. That was a great era.
Well, the Spurs, I mean, the Blazers, those Blazers are one of the best teams in NBA history to not win a title. I mean, in terms of pure talent, end to end and depth and athleticism. And what's great about them is they're kind of homegrown. They drafted a lot of those guys, and you got to be sick to death that instead of Sam Bowie, you could have had Barkley and Jordan, and Otis Thorpe. And
I have come to realize long ago that all the teams I follow are cursed, and maybe it's me.
Yeah. Sometimes you just follow underdogs, and then you're surprised when they don't come through for you.
Yep,
You're not
that's
the anti-Laker mentality.
My neighbors. Yeah, my neighbors are loud, so sorry, everybody.
Tone Cott, it was the XM days. Yeah, there's an Opie and Anthony clip I found. This is like 4 months ago, and they were Howard had first come to Sirius, and they were laying on the feud to get publicity, and they were really kind of exposing shit about him with Karmazin behind the scenes and the gag order. Opie and Anthony's fans apparently did this move, and I'd not ever heard this until I just recently listened to this. Howard took off to do the Letterman show to promote Sirius, and I don't know if you know this story, Sarah. So Opie and Anthony's listeners, you knew exactly where Howard lived at that point. So it was like 101 West 67th Street and Columbus. So Opie and Anthony's listeners waited for the limo to pick Howard up. And you're in rush hour when you go to Howard's about 15 streets away from the Letterman show, which is on Broadway and 51st Street, the Ed Sullivan Theater. So every time Ronnie, I believe, was actually driving, it would hit a red light. Opie and Anthony's fans would slap a wow sticker on the limo.
You told me that.
Oh, that's crazy. And then they figured it out, and
We need video of it though.
I know. I need to visit. So apparently, it's they had the receipts, but I would like to see video of it too. But they were adamant that really did. They would slap Opie and Anthony bumper stickers on Howard's limo every time it hit a red light. Do I think this is Barbara? Yeah. This is when Howard started getting the plugs. This is the first year where he and the Stuttering John hair grow shampoo in the Hamptons. This is the same year. This is when he's getting really, really like neurotic about the part in his hair and the coloring. This is when the plugs came in. This is the exact year that I target as Plughead year. This is 01. That's exactly right, Babs DeRush.
But you haven't had any adversity. That's your problem.
I don't get.
And the move is to blend the plugs into the regular hair. His regular hair is probably not that bad, but he's so fucking vain that he can't handle a part, which every human being has.
Adversity. I don't.
Unbelievable.
It's a fantasy.
And will there be a prenuptial agreement between the two of you?
Oh wow, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, you've got to sit down.
These are serious
totally
questions.
right.
That's a serious interview.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's got a lot of dough.
She's got tons of.
Who's got more?
I think Gellar's got the dough.
She's got the Maybelline deal, and that pays her like $30 billion.
Maybelline is big. You don't realize how big Maybelline deal is.
I think she's actually the highest paid spokesperson, actually. Period for Maybelline. For
makeup. Period.
In makeup. Period.
Rodney thinks your college is made up, Sarah. He's
All right.
accusing you of making up.
No, you're right. I made it up.
Jim, it's one word. It's made up. Roddy's a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I think she's
Really?
like the #1 gun.
What is he? What do you get? Like 15 mil for that?
Tone, Sarah, do you have Antifa members protesting at your door? That's all I know.
According to our beloved president, there is no such thing as Antifa, and how dare any of you say that? And yes, they do exist.
Stand back and stand by.
More.
You are so. What about? What about? What
How
about?
long do they have her locked up?
Yeah.
They
Till her
got
divorce.
for a couple of years. Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
No kidding.
No.
Yeah.
Now, so
Yeah, that's the land of Bigfoot, right? Oregon's supposed to be like
In the
whole
woods.
Sasquatch, or Canada is too, but both.
Yeah, my
Bigfoot is
father
the
is convinced Bigfoot exists, and I have never seen Bigfoot though. And Drusha, thank you again for the 5. You're going crazy here. I appreciate it. Keep going. Just kidding. Rod Strickland is a blazer, so how dare you?
That's a great question by Rodney, though. What do you consider Strickland? He's been on so many different teams. What are his best years? I'd say, oh my God, I'd say maybe Washington.
Yeah, probably.
You got to go with like what his highest assist numbers were. I think he
We
had
don't
an
get
assist title. He never made an All-Star team too, which is one of the
we don't get anybody in their prime.
I
So
love. Do you know Rod Strickland, Rodney? My friend said that Johnny Depp and Rod Strickland look the same. Like if a black guy could look like a white guy if you put, and we did it side by side of this. I think earlier in I don't know, what was it, the 3rd episode? We did a juxtaposition of Strickland and Depp, and
yeah,
they
I think
actually
so.
look the same. When Depp has the cheesy mustache and the goatee, he looks exactly like Rod Strickland. I thought it was a phenomenal observation by my friend. Yeah, he was on the Knicks initially, and then him and Mark Jackson had a point guard controversy, and thankfully he got shipped to San Antonio for Maurice Cheeks, and it was such a perfect fit. I remember being so happy when Strickland went to San Antonio. It was just a great fit.
You're happy whenever anybody leaves the Knicks.
I do, and I think they should move. If I were the commissioner, I'd force the Knicks to move to Seattle.
Drew Show, yes, I know he was on the Spurs. I'm just saying, if you're a Blazer, you're a Blazer, and that's it.
Well, there was another controversy with him because Terry Porter and Drexler, it was kind of like a 3-guard thing, and they
Yeah.
couldn't figure out who to start, and they really weren't firm on who the one was. And Porter became a combo guard, I think, right around that time, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so you haven't sat down with Sarah Michelle Gellar and said, I want a prenuptial agreement.
We've spoken about a lot of stuff, but I'm not.
I'm sorry, Sarah. Go ahead.
That phenomenon with the 3-guard has now switched to 5-guard, and that has lasted 30 years in Portland.
Danny Ainge went there too. Remember that?
Yeah.
Then he went to Phoenix and Sacramento. Check out the behind the back pass trick. I forgot about that. Robinson had 50. Rodney. Bigfoot's Montana, says Babs the Rush.
It's the entire northwest section of the country. People think we have creatures everywhere.
Scott Balo. I'm a huge Bigfoot guy, and yes, they do exist. I love how he just matter-of-factly goes, I'm a huge Bigfoot guy.
You never know.
Watch that wide load, Balo.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. I mean, who's going to guide you? You have no father. I'm your father.
That's true. You are my father.
I am Howard Stern Sr.
That's horrible.
You talk about Andrew Morgan?
No, never. But what he's saying about his father, just shut up about the father.
This is Kevin's. I don't think Freddie realizes how much of a spoiled Jewish prince Howard was at all. If he only knew. If I could only sit down.
You know about Freddie Prinze Sr., right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know the whole story.
Well, we can't even say it, so.
Well, just give me like a euphemize it.
Ended the life.
Okay.
That's it.
What were the circumstances behind it?
I'd have to look it up again to remind myself. It might have been involved a rope. I'm not sure.
He was a very, very successful comedian very early. Like, he was young. Like, he hit it big quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So that sometimes you blame that like success too soon. When I saw his age, I'm like, what? That's pretty young he was almost like the Puerto Rican Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Murphy was famous immediately. It was almost Freddie Prinze Sr. was almost like that. I mean, I couldn't believe how young he was. I'm like, that's really young to not, he didn't pay his dues like Shuley.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Morgan goes, Sarah's so tough that campground calls her Aunt Tifa. Hey-oh!
Andrew Morgan.
Yes, you are.
And you're Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Classic Andy Morgs, right?
I've got an intro ready for him whenever he wants to be on this show.
Roddy's a little pissed off. Oh my God, Sarah doesn't know Rod Strickland was on the Spurs.
Once you're a Blazer, you're only a Blazer.
You knew he was on, right? Did you?
Yes,
because you watched that whole series. I think you said you did.
Yeah, of course.
He was such a perfect fit. I think it's such an underrated starting 5. I think it's one of the best starting 5s of that era. Cummings at the 4, obviously Robinson at Sean Elliott, a rookie Sean Elliott at the 3, Willie Anderson at the 2, and then Strickland at the 1.
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously, you have
We've
to
spoken about everything.
All right, so how are you going to handle that?
We're all good.
So you have negotiated.
Sarah, is it true that 75% of Oregon's residents work for Nike?
No, I wish I worked for Nike. No.
I forgot about the origins of Nike are up here.
Mm-hmm.
They said one of the Jordan fables of the Sam Bowie thing was that he was destined to come up here because the Nike origins were here with fucking Prefontaine and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like they'd already anticipated that was going to happen.
Phil Knight basically finances the entire University of Oregon.
Wow.
And the Willamette Valley north of Eugene. And he wants to buy the Blazers, but
Chico and the man. Thank you, Barbara DeRush.
Yep.
Yes. What's the bigger school out there? Oregon State or Oregon as far? I mean, I know Oregon State much better.
They battle, but they go back and forth on quality of teams, but University of Oregon's bigger.
Oregon State's got some good NBA alum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about college. I haven't watched college football.
College football, though,
years.
University of Oregon there.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
I couldn't tell you one player's name other than Herbert, who went to the Chargers.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I don't follow college football
Chargers
or basketball.
are my second favorite team.
Created
So how are you going to work that?
We didn't have our agents call each other and negotiate.
Let me
just
guess.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to tell you how it was
Her
negotiated.
name is not on his house mortgage or
Right.
whatever the papers are.
My name's not on hers.
Right, you're
And
going to
your
keep.
name-
This is what I'm saying, Sarah. If you could just turn it around on them and ask them all their mortgage information and all this stuff, he's such a nice guy that he'd never do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd been on here. I think he hasn't been on years. Oh, he's been marginal. He's not famous enough anymore for the show. He's now officially in David Arquette land.
I don't think either one of them will ever be on the
No.
show.
It's tough to quantify Sarah Michelle Gellar's fame right now.
So you're going to keep everything separate. What you earn is what you earn. What she earns is what she earns.
It's all together. Like I don't.
What about a joke? Will you share your comic books with her?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Andrew Morgan and the waffle maker. This is a great Prefontaine reference. The waffle makers that Philly used to use for rubber soles are the first Nike track shoes. That guy's a good. Billy Crudup is a very underrated character actor. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's very unrecognizable and stuff, which is really the first job of an actor. He was in Public Enemies, but remember he played the head of the FBI. God,
Yeah.
What is his name?
He was almost hot in Almost Famous.
That's his nickname, Almost Hot. This is something quite a little bit off.
A little off.
I want to introduce you to the first war on crime.
What do we got left of Prinze Jr.?
You will.
Yeah.
Not even.
You know, people say this, but I'll remind you.
So this is Prinze hearkening back to this. This is 6 years ago, and he brings this up on this weird interview show about the Howard bet. So this is now from that point 15 years later, and look at his speech cadence is kind of strange here.
Divorce rate in our country is 56%. That means every other one of y'all is getting divorced. So it's not.
I added.
It almost sounds like Macaulay Culkin. Oh, you added to it?
Yeah, the divorce rate. I helped.
His Tonecott says Portland State was the birth of the run and shoot. Dan Fouts. I didn't realize that, Tonecott. I love Dan Fouts in Portland State. My current therapist went to Portland State.
Oh, the Drew Show is killing me. He's stabbing me in the heart.
Kevin Duckworth was a Spur traded. That's forgot about that. To save you guys from the Sam Bowie curse. And too bad Brandon Roy. God, it's crazy, Sarah. When you
read the last sentence.
It is no, he's right. It's a cursed franchise. The
Okay.
deaths. I mean, you had Petrovich, Cliff Robinson.
That's not our fault.
Kersey.
Petrovich got in a car accident.
It is your fault. It's
In Europe?
very much your fault. It's very much. Matthew Broderick killed him, by the way.
Probably. Read the last sentence. That's what stabs me in the heart.
Of course.
That ring didn't count.
Jerome Kersey won a. This is why the ring stuff is bullshit. Like, so does that count as a, so that counts as a
Didn't count.
like we have these things about like what a ring is. Would you rather have Karl Malone and John Stockton's career or John Sally and Derek Fisher's career?
I want you to keep in mind, Drew Show, and I love you, Drew Show, but keep in mind, after they come to your team, when they retire, where do they move back to? It's always the same. It's always a little state called Oregon that they move back to and live out their days there.
Do you remember when Macaulay Culkin was on Rogan?
Yeah.
Did you watch any of that?
So
He actually
cool.
talks about Depp. We can't play that clip. I'm afraid of the
No, of course
Rogan.
not. Don't even try. Don't even think about it.
Macaulay Culkin goes into this whole thing about Depp, and it was very interesting repartee. Departee. But Freddie Prinze sounds like him here. If you remember this, so listen to this.
It's not just Hollywood. It's tough. You know, Sarah and I were friends first for a good year and a half. And
Over
she knew the kind of
enunciating.
guy I was. I knew the kind of girl she was, and the trust part didn't have to be earned because it already was. A lot of times, you know, patience is power, and we live in a world where patience is unnecessary and almost it's like Voldemort in the Harry Potter world. Like, you can't say
he
it.
writes
Well, I'll
cookbooks.
say it.
Back to the kids. Wow, I didn't know he did a cookbook. Aren't you an expert in all things cookbooks, Sarah?
I haven't bought a cookbook in a while. I don't need a cookbook.
Look at how homoerotic his face is on the cover of the book.
It's all right. He's making money.
I wonder how well it did.
I
I
don't
love
know.
this guy. I know he's a bit of a cornball, but that's the best part. He's got those Jordans on. What is that? The 2s or the 3s or something?
You got me.
I'm Harry Potter. I'm not afraid of the guy. I got the scar to prove it. But, you know, patience is power. And I think a lot of times we jump in relationships very quickly, and there's a ring on you. I don't wear a ring.
He sounds like an inspirational speaker a little bit. He's got that tone, you know, the cadence.
Mm-hmm.
You know I'm married. I just don't like the way jewelry feels on me. I don't wear watches, chains, nothing.
I agree with that. When I saw Depp wearing the skull, I cannot stand the feeling of jewelry. I agree with that 100%. I cannot wear a ring. I hate how that feels. I couldn't agree more. I hate jewelry. It's very oppressive and clunky, and I don't feel lucid. I couldn't agree more with that.
So there's a weird thing about me. But, you know, when you're getting to know somebody once the ring's on the finger, that's trouble. Because you might not like the person you see 6 months from now and be like, yo, we don't have anything in common other than you're hot. And that's, you know, that's tough. And there's
True,
a lot of
Rodney.
marriages that go down that road. And we were fortunate enough to be at the right time in our lives. When we both
Drew
wanted
show.
something serious. And it worked. So we're
He's
lucky,
right.
but we also work
No,
very hard.
I'm not talking about that
Incest.
one.
Dumb luck. I mean, it's work.
How does it feel to be a part
That's
of
Rodney,
this
right?
couple that
Yeah.
so many of
Okay,
us
sorry,
grew
I'll
up
call him Rodney.
watching you guys in our favorite
All right, let's.
movies? So it must be cool looking back and being like,
It's
yeah,
fun.
we're
I
pretty
mean,
hot.
there's times where I look back and laugh. Like I did the Howard
Here we go.
Stern show when I was a young buck, and he was cracking jokes that, you know, me and Sarah were just sleeping together, and then we break up in a few years. And he bet me $1 million that we would break up in under 5 years. You have not paid that bet, young man. The Vigorish is running, and it's up to like 3.2 million at this point.
Oh Lord.
That's 2016. He still brings it up. I love that he brings it up as corny as he is there. I just cannot bring enough attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Kevin Duckworth died in Oregon, 44. So did Jerome Kersey. If they stayed in Texas, they would have lived. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Rodney. Who would you rather have your power forward, Sarah? Whitney Cummings or Terry Cummings?
Terry Cummings. I don't care if Whitney Cummings is on this earth.
David, that's from the Sirius Studios. They did like some stupid fucking town. I don't know what it was for. It was like a promotion for something, and Monique had tickets to it. And it's a very underrated little moment there. I should have that saved on a hard drive.
I don't
Because
think
they're always
Whitney
looking-
Cummings could play basketball. She'd slide from that grease dripping from her face. She'd slide all over the court.
The most overrated female comedian in the history of the sport. You
That
heard it
says
here
something.
first. She is. Every time these broads would do the Comedy Central roast, and they would be dirty birdies, and they would have like a fairly successful, and it would kind of catch people off guard. They would get way too much elevation from those Comedy Central. It happened to Schumer. It happened to her. It happened to Lampin. There's like a list of 5 of them. Who's the broad that Amy? She's a anorexic Amy Schumer. I cannot remember her name.
I don't know.
Over and over again. Blonde. She looks like Legal Bites. I forget her name. I'm glad I don't know.
I tune them out. I don't even.
Good.
We got some Depp stuff.
Thanks for the assist, friend. I knew we could count on you to pull that name out.
You want to talk about a female comedian name you need to pull up in your brain? No, I'm not your gal.
Okay. Nikki Glaser. Thank
Yeah.
you, Dovey. I knew Dovey would get it. Thank you, Nikki Glaser. So they all had like a successful Comedy Central roast. By the way, which I realized too, they shoot those like 10 times in a row until they get it right. So it's not like right out of the gate. And they do the same thing. They elevate they all have the same material. Like, and this is not, I think many women are, I love Janine Garofalo, but all these broads are the same. Their material is interchangeable. They can say one another's lines. They're not unique. They do the same shit. They all have the same material. They're, overtly contrived sexuality, and it's coming, and it's not so. And they're all elevated from these Comedy Central roasts, from Schumer to Nikki Glazer. They're all the same.
I know somebody who wrote for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast, but that's about it.
Is that person someone who America really fell in love with during I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here?
Nobody fell in love with
Continues
this
to fall
person.
in love with. I think America
Nobody fell in love.
I'm pretty sure America fell in love with him during that whole thing.
Nope.
Okay, so we want to go. Doug Stanhope has surfaced. He has a book out, and he has been kind of lying in the weeds. And he is Johnny Depp's best comedian friend. And as the story goes, and I remember, Depp is so when you're on the level Depp is, and this can happen to anyone as famous. Your agents and your managers can just hook you up with women. Like when you see a relationship in Hollywood that doesn't make any sense, chances are their agents hook them up. So you're like, well, how did this person meet this person? And what? They're never in the same circles. So agents and managers can do many, many things. And one of the many things they can do besides hook you up with a broad is if you like an entertainer, in Depp's case, he'll instantly become instant friends with the person. You can summon them and they'll come to you. So Depp was like sequestered and in an agoraphobic mode, was watching like Netflix and saw a Doug Stanhope stand-up special and became enamored with him and instantly told Tracy Jacobs at the time to summon Doug Stanhope to his 7 residences, and they forged a friendship. And so the story breaks this week. Stanhope is now speaking. Stanhope wrote an article about Amber Heard when nobody had the balls to come forward. And I don't know if you remember that, Sarah, but
yes, of
this was when Depp was on the balls of his ass. Public sentiment was really against him. This is a bad time for him. And Stanhope came out, and I think it was called The Wrap. Stanhope wrote an article for The Wrap about what he knew about their relationship and really having Depp's back because he was on the front lines and he had a front row seat of this relationship. He and Bingo. So this is how this is verbatim, and I kind of voiced it over just straight.
Okay.
Johnny Depp is being blackmailed by Amber Heard. Here's how I know. Guest column by Doug Stanhope, May 29th, 2016. Actor's friend, comic Doug Stanhope, says that Heard was threatening to lie about him publicly in any and every possible duplicitous way if he didn't agree to her terms. Just an update first. Amber Heard's attorney says the claim that Heard is blackmailing Johnny Depp is unequivocally false. And if he didn't say unequivocally, I wouldn't think it was false. Categorically. It's almost 4 a.m. and I can't sleep, not even dozing off. Today, a friend of mine was pillared in the press. So when you doubt something, if they say false, you don't believe it, but they say unequivocally false, you do believe them, right? I mean,
and it's set in stone at that point.
Yeah, I feel the same way about categorically. I don't believe it until you say categorically. Yes. For domestic violence. Patently too. I don't believe it's false unless you say patently. With a picture of his wife with a bruise. He was murdered on social media. I watched it happen, and I didn't say a fucking word. Thank you, David. Lyle Lovett and Julia Roberts was another weird one. And now that we know what we know with the agents and hooking, I was so naive to it all. That's exactly how that must have happened back then. You're exactly right, David. Even though I knew it was bullshit. We'd watch it build like this since before they were married. We'd watch her manipulate and fuck with him for years. We didn't say a word. To each other, yes, but never to him. When your friend is in an awful abusive relationship, man or woman, and you risk weighing in on that their counterpart is a demon, the odds are they will jump right back into the fire and they'll dump you from their life for just being honest. Most of us have been on one or both sides of this coin, choosing to be blinded or removing the people who have clearer eyes that can guide you. The fact that Hollywood and the entertainment industry at large, society as a whole, turns a blind eye to domestic violence is abhorrent. But the tides have turned in such a way that the mere allegation that such a crime has occurred leaves the person accused as guilty without due process. My girlfriend Bingo and I have known Johnny Depp for a few years now, about 3. We've watched Amber Heard fuck with him at his weakest, or watched him at his weakest from being fucked with for the entire time we've known him. And we didn't say shit because he's Johnny Depp. And we didn't want to be thrown out of the circle for saying that the emperor was being stripped of his scarves. You know, it isn't my place to name people who agreed with us, but I couldn't name one person closely associated with him that didn't feel the same. But nobody said shit to his face. Bingo and I were at Johnny's house for most of that Saturday until just before the alleged assault. We assumed initially that his dour mood was because of his mother's death just the day before, but he opened up in the most vulnerable of ways that it was not only his mother, but that Amber was now going to leave him, threatening to lie about him publicly and in every possible duplicitous way if he didn't agree to her terms. Blackmail is what I would imagine other people might put it, including the manner in which he is now being vilified. We stopped not saying shit. Bingo and I together and then separately told him how much we were aware of this manipulative asshole, and how his closest circle had all agreed on this since the day we met, and that we were all feared that telling him outright might just alienate us all. Love makes you do funny things. I told him the truth, and I half expected to be asked to leave. But I wasn't seeing Johnny Depp. I saw a naked emperor. We told him to get dressed. Other people came in and out during that afternoon, all verifying that we'd been cowardly, saying things only behind his back for so long. He seemed dumbstruck that nobody had ever come clean about this, and he thanked everyone for just being honest. He still pronounced his love for Amber was presciently aware that she was going to pull off some kind of ruse to fuck him over. He hadn't slept in days with anxiety. You'd call him a paranoid if you didn't know better. But he knew better, and he was right. Sarah, you remember the Rolling Stone piece?
Of course.
A lot of parallels to this
Mm-hmm.
about his mood and it's very eerily similar to the way Stephen Roderick described him when he visited. That's one we got to do too.
Side note, Bingo follows the Deppening on Twitter.
Really?
Of course.
Did you follow her first?
No, I tweeted something. No, one of her tweets came up. I responded. I don't even remember. And she liked it and followed us.
She's from your neck of the woods, if I'm not mistaken.
No, is she? That's why then.
I've heard, I think she's from Portland or outside of Portland.
Oh, yeah.
She looks like she's from Oregon, and that's
yeah,
a compliment. That's it. Your state's a state that's a bit accentless, right? You can't tell. Like, I feel like Washington and Oregon are free of accents.
The only accent I've ever had is what I currently have with the dead tongue. So, yeah, there's really no accent here.
Rodney poetically says, Doug Stancoke is a big cokehead. He's such a big cokehead. His girlfriend ended up in a coma because of their predilections.
Yeah.
Not sure he's defending Depp is a good thing.
I think
I
anybody
don't know that
defending him is a
story,
good
Rodney.
thing.
I don't know. I don't really know that story. I wish
Yeah,
I
they all
could.
do
I'll look that up. I believe you. He's a wild guy, but he's a phenomenal comedian. I don't give it up to comedians often. I think I'm very self-entertaining in my own head, and I think our entertainment dollar and time is very precious and gets thinner every day. He's the one guy I would see live. I think that Depp is spot on, and he truly is a guy who's uncancelable and truly doesn't give a shit. Like, as evidence that he's going here and he's bucking the lawyers, and that he had the balls to do this at a time when nobody had the balls to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then guys like Bill Burr, I think, joined in on this, and Bonnie McFarlane. But he's every bit the hype. He's kind of, I guess, if there is a George Carlin predecessor, he might be him. By the way, when I read this, I was doing a decent Stanhope impression, but he has that like 35 years of chain smoking that you just can't hold up. It's just that gravelly thing just destroys your fucking throat box. I couldn't keep it up. I really couldn't. I tried. I just couldn't. It wasn't worth it.
Say box again.
Box?
Yeah, thank you.
That's
I'll slow that
trifling.
down when I edit it.
I heard that's your favorite Alpha Flight replacement for Sasquatch.
Okay.
As he finally felt like he could sleep, we left him. From what now we read in the news, later that night, the police. Melvin goes, "Hey, Melvin, where are you from? You don't have to give me dox the word, Sarah? You don't have to give me just where, roughly where. I'm actually curious what your origins are in terms of where you
He's
hail
from the U.S. of A.
Okay. One time I saw Stanhope live. I'm going to say he's from the Vegas area. One time I saw Stanhope live. I met Bingo at the Abutting Bar. Is it a real name? We said hi, shook hands, and she had a very rough, calloused hands. I can imagine that, Melvin.
Ew, I can.
Michigan. Melvin's from Michigan. I would not have guessed that. I don't know why. By the way, Melvin, I make a mean Detroit pizza now, which is basically like an inverted Sicilian pizza. And it's like really thick crust and thick everything and a lot of pepperoni. And it's Sicilian pizza, but the
I would
sauce goes on
imagine.
top.
I would imagine he knows what a Detroit pizza is.
It's very underrated. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, he's in Michigan. He's not necessarily in Detroit.
Oh, Jesus.
Called to his house for a domestic dispute. Finding no criminal act had occurred and no signs of physical abuse, the police left. Everything Johnny had told us that she'd been threatening had actually come to be. It blew up in the news, raced through the internet like a plague. What about what David says here? To me, Depp treats his social circle like it's an eclectic living room decor. The Marilyn Manson friendship offers a contrast to the Stanhope one. It's like they're art pieces he's purchasing. That's pretty good, David. I said something along the lines that he collects artists like baseball cards, whether it's Thompson or Ginsberg or Jeff Beck, or he likes to, and certainly, when you have an agent that can do that for him. I'd love to see Depp have to be social on his own without an agent facilitating these friendships. Because I think he's like bipolar in terms of his, he crawls, he's very, very prone to, being agoraphobic and crawling, which comes with being like the most recognizable international star, arguably on the planet. At this, especially after the trial, his recognizability. Not that people didn't know who he was, but it just got. If you didn't think he was already, the trial put him to another level with humanoids and that sort of TikTok goldfish brain generation who ordinarily would not give a shit about watching the Ninth Gate like Lauren Marie.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea, and that's all they know him from is the trial. What did I do here? Guest column by Doug Stanhope, May 20th.
To the beginning.
Finding no criminal act had occurred and no signs of physical abuse, the police left. Everything Johnny had told us that she'd been threatening had actually come to be. It blew up in the news, raced through the internet like a plague, and blew up on Twitter like it was the McMartin child abuse scandal. People are sworn. What is that, Sarah? The McMartin child abuse? Is that something we're supposed to know?
Maybe.
Detroit Pizza says Pell like any other pizza, but when done, put a gun to your head and rob yourself of it. What? Make like any other. Oh, okay. Made like any other, but put a gun to your head, you'll eat. Yeah. It's a very Sicilian-like thing. If you don't know Sicilian, it's the super thick crust. It's kind of like, oily on the bottom. I love Sicilian pizza. When I was, a kid, I got introduced to Sicilian pizza by Pizzavante. And from that point on, I always liked it better than Neapolitan. I always will. Me and Artie and our 2 Sicilian pies coming home from Albany. With torches on social media. I watched it all happen ahead of time. And I watched it come to fruition today. And I haven't been able to sleep again because I didn't say shit to defend him. Why? Because I felt like in defending him, I would just come across as a sycophant trying to attach myself to a sensationalized story in order to further my career. latter-day Cato Kalin. And now, as the sun is coming up, I realize not saying shit to defend him is a far worse crime of ego, to leave a friend hanging so you don't look like a suck-up. I and we that were there aren't suck-ups or apologists. We were witnesses. I didn't jump into the fray because I was weak. Melvin writes, "Hey, reach out, get Stanhope on you." Melvin, I think Bingo is just as good a get. If you can't get Doug, I think Bingo knows exactly what Doug knows. So if you can't get Doug, is Bingo under the same legal constraints he is? Right, Sarah? I mean, Bingo knows exactly. He's with him the whole time. She knows everything too. She's not tapped into enough, I don't think.
She might be.
Oh God.
No, she might be under the same constraints.
That's a good question, but I have
I don't know, though.
no evidence of that though. I found something out in the yesterday's article that I did not know about the Stanhope stuff, which we've always we tried to conjecture, but I did not know this, and I did not predict it correctly. It was because I didn't want to look like a name dropper. I'll name drop now. Johnny Depp is my friend. But any one of my friends will tell you I always call him out on bullshit. Abusing women is bullshit. Johnny doesn't abuse anyone. And he told me that day ahead of time that she'd pull some kind of shit like this. Johnny Depp got used, manipulated, set up, and made to look like an asshole, and he saw it coming and didn't or couldn't do anything to stop it. He may never talk to me again for saying it, but I'd never forgive myself for not coming to his defense out of fear or ego. Fudgesicle writes, Stanhope is so right. You can't tell people shit about their relationships. I've been on both sides. Stay as close to your friend as possible so you're available to them when it finally blows up. That's well said, Fudgesicle. Sarah, do you think it's impossible? Is it possible to get in front of this before it happened, like Stanhope's almost trying to do here and no one listened to him?
So post word leaking out that he's an abuser, are you saying
if Depp decided to get in front of this before this happened, how would you do that? Could you do that? Could you say
you make a
this
statement.
is about to happen? Yeah, I wonder if that's something you can do. Is that a good? I never thought of that before. If he's so prescient here, could he have gotten in front of it and said it all the way back in 2016 and said, "This is what's coming," blah 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 blah. You know. Or he just isn't confrontational like that. He has to be pushed to do that.
I think it was probably told by an attorney, let's wait and see how this plays out. She probably just wants to have the upper hand in any negotiations over settlement.
Calling her bluff.
Yeah.
Or trying to.
Yeah, and not even he or his attorneys knew how willing and how far she was willing to go with it. And still is.
Because what it said, I mean, what Stanhope's saying here is that Depp knew this was coming for quite a while. So maybe he could have gotten in front of it.
Mm-hmm. Again,
it
he
sounds
probably
like he
just
knew
thought it was for
months
negotiations.
It's not his style to do that either, but I just wonder, I'm just doing like a what if. What if? Could you do that in the future? I want to see someone take a lesson from this and do that. Just before you just beat them to the draw. Like, oh, no, they're going to say this and it's not true. I know. Here we go. I mean, just the Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie thing. These are two of the biggest, Hollywood couple in history. And yet I feel like that's not even getting the publicity it deserves. It's getting crazy with those two.
Yeah, I think it's about to get it much more attention than it has.
Is Brad Pitt really dating Emily Ratajkowski now?
I have no idea.
Is that so? Hollywood's so predictable. He's 30 years. It'd be like if my sister dated my nephew. That's the age difference.
It's a little different.
My sister is a little bit younger than Brad Pitt, and my nephew is a little bit younger than Emily Ratajkowski.
Mm-hmm.
By like a couple years. It's so I guess it's just civilians. We just think different. It's so creepy. It's getting, we thought Amber Heard and Depp were ridiculous. That's 30 fucking years now. Brad Pitt's going to be 60 just a couple months after Depp is. If that's a real relationship, I'm just going on Hollywood gossip.
That's weird because I think her IQ is 30.
And so Emily Ratajkowski is an Amber Heard supporter, is why I say that. She's one of these like feminazis. She is friends with Amy Schumer, who they march on Washington every 5 days for some contrived woke cause. And I hate saying the W word, but so she's one of the like, subtle Amber Heard supporters, which is kind of weird because I don't know where Depp's on the side of Jolie and Pitt. I can never quite tell what his from the tourist, if he has a relationship with her still or not. I can't. And there's all the lazy person's allegations that he had an affair with Jolie during the tours, which is very easy go to, right? I mean, that seems like a no brainer.
There was a rumor that that was his ultimate crush, Angelina Jolie,
That's
at one
her
point.
crush. Yeah, it's her crush.
No, she was his crush.
Oh, I heard her crush.
Okay, maybe it's two-way. I don't know, but
Yeah, it might be.
that's the one he always was sad
was-
that she got away.
That was always the
Now he's
dream
probably happy.
team up, that the two of them would be in the same movie. He actually turned down Mr. and Mrs. Smith
Mm-hmm.
initially. I don't know if people know that. And what else is the history with those two? I read a thing that she actually thought he was super lazy on The Tourist.
Mm-hmm.
That
Well,
he wasn't doing. He just was mailing it in, collecting the check. She hated his hair and this whole. That's
I like his hair because it's very Eddie Vedder, but
very Eddie Vedder. Very Eddie
he's
Vedder.
got more Vaseline on that lens than Joan Collins did
than-
on the set of Dynasty.
Than Mike Scott's cut fastball in 1986. I stand up for my friends and I tell the fucking truth. Sarcastic Affy. Bingo seems like a pretty rational human being. I like Bingo though. I'm sure she's no liar. I'm sure you get some good. We haven't touched. I'd love to know an unleashed Bingo with what she knows. That'd be great. I love Bingo too, folks. I agree with that. We all have head injuries. I got 2 head injuries. I wonder if Bingo is.
That's not really attractive.
Detroit pizza. I'm sorry, I read that already. Bingo probably passes her hands to make them rougher. Like Moises Alou. Oh, God, Andrew.
I'll be back. I got a bang on the ceiling.
If anyone is here gay for Jeff Beck, my friend has a guitar signed by him. Speaking of Jeff Beck, Scott Balo, they announced, and I was right, and I knew he wouldn't do it without him. Depp is in fact joining Jeff. I'm gonna read this on Sunday, I think, when we do another show. Jeff Beck is joining Depp. I'm sorry, Depp is joining Jeff Beck on his U.S. tour. I believe starting in, oh my God, I want to say Washington, D.C. or more north than that. And you knew what I want to know. I mean, we'll talk about this on Sunday, but I want to know the seating statistics of the ticket sales pre-Depp and post-Depp. And every time Depp agrees to some tedious dinosaur rocking worship like this, that is more time he will not be doing a decent film. This is what Tracy Jacobs' big problem with him was. Every time he does Hollywood vampires shit or this. Did you hear that, Sarah? Depp's joining
Yes,
Jeff
I
Beck on
heard.
his fucking U.S. tour.
Mm-hmm.
Good God. And that's, all the time we're not going to
Well, maybe
do a
he's
movie.
going to be done filming by then. The
I don't
Louis
know.
movie.
But he's coming to Long Island too, by the way. Huntington.
Good. You're going to go, right?
2 dates. I'm not going.
I want pictures.
I'm protesting. I'm protesting outside with all G Canada signs. G Canada is going to totally Fudsicle. Sometimes people are drawn to extreme personalities when they don't have a strong one of their own. It could also be an actor thing. Well said. Good analysis, Fudsicle. I agree with that too. Or these guys are users who like other users of cocaine, like Chris Rock's joke. To crackheads will be in love forever. Quit trying to be an Algonquin team. That's a Chris Rock quote. I love the Rodney memorizing Chris Rock's act. I love it. Oh God, McMartin thing was a giant mess. Check out the HBO movie about it. I still think it's James Woods is great in it. I didn't even know that. I'm surprised you don't know that because you follow all that stuff.
No.
So you sure you do? Sure you do.
Do you? Or what are you playing next with Stanhope?
If you huff one more
I
time.
didn't huff once, so get that out of your head.
Sariana Huffington, I'm going to play the current day story. So the follow up on it, Doug Stanhope has a book out, and he's trying to get the word out. And there's an article in the Daily Mail, and this Daily Mail is such a pain in the ass today. It was like flickering, and I'm trying to like screen record and stuff, and so I tried to work through it. And so this is the Daily Mail, current day. Stanhope is now speaking, and in this article there is a moment in the piece that I did not realize that explains what happened to the Stanhope case, the Amber Heard lawsuit against Stanhope for defamation. Relentlessly scheming and a belittling opportunist by Johnny Depp's pal Doug Stanhope, who claims the actress seemed to fuck with the star's head when his mother died. I think there's a gap here. Johnny Depp's friend and confidant, Doug Stanhope, has branded his ex-wife Amber Heard a relentlessly scheming and belittling opportunist in explosive claims. The comedian at 55 has previously spoken out to support Johnny. In 2016, Amber filed a lawsuit against him, which she later dropped over comments he made, alleging that she had made up her claims of abuse. Now Doug had shared some more accounts of his time with the pair, claiming that Amber seemed to use the actor's moments of weakness to manipulate him. You ever have any friends like Pellel, Sarah, where you have a toxic relationship you're watching and you try to warn the friend of how shitty it is, but you can't? You don't know where your place is, and then it blows up, and you don't want to say, I told you so. And I think we've all been in that.
You only open your mouth when or if you see a hit happen, and then even then you risk the relationship ending between you and that person forever.
Depp's problem there, and that's what Pellel is referring to with the Amber Heard stuff, is he was so intrepid that he was never around her for a great deal of time. So that thing went on much longer than it should have. When you have 7 residences and you're filming movies, and she's over, and the Coachella con artists are at Penthouse fucking 5 and 3 and 2. That thing went on so much longer. Could you imagine if they were actually around each other like 24/7 and he didn't have 7? How long would that have lasted? You know how
Cut it in
fast that would have
half.
blown up? I'd say thirds.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I have friends. You ever have friends who they have like a long distance relationship, even if it's just like an hour and a half away, and it goes on for a long time, and then they actually consummate, they get married or live together, and then they can't handle it. In 2 weeks I had a friend like that too, where he's dating someone for a really long time. They got together, they were done in 4 months. They could not handle any seclusion or downtime. There was always a buffer. There was always a 2-week or people around or a 2-week buffer. Everything was a honeymoon period. And once they had to show some endurance, no pun intended, it was done. And I think this thing, I'm giving it 25% of the time if they were actually around, if he didn't have 7 residences. Remember when she said to him, she goes, go run to your one house. Oh, just run to the other house. Run to the other house.
Yeah. No, I've never been in that situation.
Go run. Go run to the other house. She's kind of right there. Because it would not have, you don't have to work through everything if you could just run to another residence. Melvin goes, Brad Pitt's 58 and she's 31. Would anyone say anything if he was 88 and she was 61? Robbing there's nothing funnier than going up to an 88-year-old, robbing the cradle, huh? 61-year-old. Yeah, I think I would, Melvin. I think I'd have a problem with that too. He recalled the period of time after Johnny's mother passed away in May of 2016, just days before Amber filed to divorce him. Writing in his book, No Encore for the Donkey, Doug. How great is it? Texaho comes in and we're talking about a millennial in Emily Ratajkowski. Perfect timing, Texaho. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome. Said his wife, Amber Heard, seemed to be fucking with his head again, and I assume using the opportunity of his weakness to manipulate him even more and harder. Amber seemed to have played the part of Johnny's ever-doting placater. The cruel dysfunction in this marriage was nothing that you haven't seen up close with your own friends. if you haven't suffered it yourself. But someone close to you stuck in an abusive relationship who will never concede that they are actually being abused, or if they do, they will blame it on any other circumstance or themselves and keep deeper and for worse. He went on to note that it was almost inconceivable to think that Johnny Depp or anyone that famous could be trapped in this kind of abyss of the heart. What I'm doing here, so there's these little pauses. Daily Mail runs so many fucking ads that it disrupts anything you're running, and it's insane. It would trip up my recording because they're running these crazy videos and ads. I would just like fighting through. It was so difficult to record this because of the way the Daily Mail is formatted. Fudgesicle writes, the McMartins owned a preschool in Southern California in the 80s. A parent made up stories of sexual abuse and satanic rituals. Shrinks convinced other parents their kids were victims too. The witch hunt was on. Can you picture Depp, Stanhope, and Marilyn Manson and Damien Eccles watching that together high on absinthe?
I hope not to picture
Isn't that
that.
such the thing that they would be into?
Mm-hmm.
What does
We're
Rodney
still
say?
here.
No, Rodney writes, no reason the Depp Alina never happened is because he's a cokehead and she's a heroin waif. Go fast and not off. Don't mix. Yes, sir, Rodney. Well said. In your own Rodney Edward Nigma speech, Kate, and written word and written Rodney font.
Is it paused?
What is the problem? Oh, there's me. Wow. There's me freaking out. I recorded that. Holy shit. That's
that was you recording that?
That's me recording myself. Problem. What is the So I have this running, right? So it's recording, and Daily Mail is not it keeps it, it's basically like taking over my RAM, that it's running so many ads. Listen to this borderline personality ass problem. Delivering a fun. What is the problem? You love this. That's Schadenfreude Sarah, by the way.
Oh, everybody.
Let's hear this Schadenfreude Sarah laugh again.
Hear what I hear when he's mad at the equipment. Oh.
Here we go. I gotta get a. What's the? Okay, 220.
Oh my God.
226. Delivering a fun. What is the problem? 231. 2.5 minutes. That's what you said. Ready? Here we go. What is the problem?
Oh my God.
And then it's almost like what's his name from
it's not just what is the problem? It's
Lawrence,
what's the problem?
Bill O'Reilly or Lawrence O'Donnell freak out. I would never take it out of my PAs.
Oh my God. That when we finally
on the hour to avoid the shit and vitriol of the relentlessly scheming and belittling opportunist was at minimum disheartening. Mail Online has contacted Amber and Johnny's representative. A lot of Casey Kasem in there too, Sarah. Freaking out on the. You get vibes of that old Casey Kasem thing. Bill O'Reilly,
the dead
Lawrence
pet.
O'Donnell. Yeah, all the people who can. Was it Orson Welles did something like that too? Representatives to comment. But in May of 2016, at an early stage in their divorce process, Amber claimed that Johnny had abused her physically, which he denied. Doug then penned an op-ed claiming the actress had blackmailed the actor with false domestic abuse claims, prompting Amber to file a lawsuit accusing Doug of. Barbara DeRush, I am not going. I'm protesting.
You've completely overshadowed your reading, by the way.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes.
Nobody's listening to that.
Where I live. But at least I have the balls to own it. Not balls, but at least the honesty to own it. Yeah, I have an anger problem. There's an inner Pat Cooper in me. He was my anger muse for a long time. I can really, really go from 0 to 10. I think I can reel it in well. I think I'm a really nice guy, but I have an anger switch that goes off.
You go. I said it I said it last time. You go from negative 25 to 2,000 instantly. I have been on the other end of it when you're screaming at your equipment, and I cried once.
I think I'm mad that computers aren't perfected yet, that we still have some of the same problems we had like 15 years ago, some of the same glitches, and it's just not. Wi-Fi is not perfect. We still have Wi-Fi dropouts. We so depend on it. Sarah, have you had did you have an electrical outage like last year?
Yeah, it
Right,
was like 3 days.
right. So
I
there's a
never did that
Wi-Fi
what you
thing.
did.
Well, wasn't there a Wi-Fi thing you were complaining about? Like, it was like nothing's improved. Like, it's still the same Wi-Fi outages we had 15 years
Nothing
ago.
is perfect,
I know.
and you can't force yourself into an early grave by going crazy over it. See, imagine him screaming like that, and I'm like, okay, it's okay, it's all right. Just switch headphones. Unplug the USB. It's okay. Don't let it
Rodney
bother
has
you.
this stern kind of community is so toxic that you get everyone's so hyper critical and that you just can't deal with. You know what I mean? Like you just glitches are just not acceptable, and you become so tough on yourself that you can't
And
deal
what's the
with.
point? Why is it
Uh,
your fault? No.
no,
Let it go.
Rodney goes, Gina Bobina. You get who would win in a street fight between New Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys? My money's on the mass holes. It would be a slaughter. I agree, Rodney. I agree. I always go with the Whitey Bulger Winter Hill gang of twinks. I agree.
The defamation. Yet she dropped the lawsuit 3 months later with the Star's representative.
Don't you like when the brooding new kid who pulls up in the Harley, just to let you know, he's a motorcycle guy in a moped band. Now he might sing do 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 do, but he doesn't mean it. Right,
What?
Sarah? Who am I talking about? Donnie
I have no
Wahlberg?
idea. I have no
In
idea.
the original what was the New Kids on the Block video where Donnie Wahlberg is in the motorcycle?
That would be games.
What is it called?
Games.
Games? That's the title of the song? It
That's
was
the title of the
the
song.
big hit. The big hit.
Oh, I don't know. There's like 10 of them.
What
There's
was the
Hanging Tough,
first
Step by Step.
Step by Step. Step by Step. He pulls up on the I think he pulls up on the motorcycle in that one.
Telling TMZ that Amber is moving on, getting back to work, and leading a normal, happy life. The drop suit was linked to a settlement the Black Mass Star and Amber had come to terms on.
Melvin says, I bought a bottle of Sauvage. It's wonderful. Get you some. How much was it, Melvin? And where does the proceeds go? Do they actually say, does it all go to Sauvage? Never bailed on Depp. Does it smell like brown cigarettes and Coke sweat,
It
Melvin?
smells
What's the
like the
sense?
sweat that drips on me from him from above.
Oh God, Gina doesn't know what's good. Gina's
condition
not
being the elimination.
Gina Bobina is an interesting broad. She's not. She's just here to Bobina-size the chat. She doesn't really. She doesn't follow the depth stuff. She's just kind of here to contribute, and it's interesting. I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would go into kind of a topic that I didn't fully passionate. I was all in on. Not a chat. I certainly wouldn't. And she seems to have the ability to blend into any chat, no matter what the topic is, even if she's not particularly passionate about it. I
Mhm.
don't think I would do that, and that's a compliment to her. I don't know if I would ever. I would have to have a complete, not saying mastery of the thing, but definitely a quiet passion for the thing. I don't think I
Mhm.
would ever go into chat without it. And that's quite a skill to do, to blend like that.
I'd
Of all
rather take a nap.
lawsuits stemming from the accusations of domestic abuse she levied against him and their split. In an essay published on the Rap, Doughead recalled seeing Johnny privately flustered by Amber's intent to part ways, and how the actress was threatening to lie about him publicly in any and every possible duplicitous way if he didn't agree to her terms.
Is that the end?
The comedian has continued his outspoken defense of Johnny and is currently on comedy tour around the United Kingdom. In reference to the legal battle Doug penned in his book In Context, a lawsuit from Amber Heard was a much comedy fodder as drama, adding, the more I learned about it and contemplated it, the more desperately I wanted the lawsuit to happen.
Texaho, if I had a boyfriend, I would buy him Sauvage. I can afford it because I'm straight pimping. My God. From Meals on Wheels to Sauvage. That is eclectic, right? That Texaho? How about would you buy Sauvage for a millennial, Texaho? That's what I want to know. Is that it for that? Okay. So during that, here's what I want to, did you catch this? So in the lawsuit, Depp's settlement, the $7 million that, the whole thing with the ACLU and that to just make it go away, that they agreed on where they were going to go their separate ways. In that agreement, Depp exonerated Stanhope from legalese and said, you drop the Stanhope lawsuit and we'll do this.
Okay, yeah, I do. That is familiar. I remember
It's
something about
not
that.
shown at all. This is the first time I've seen this. So we always wondered what happened to this. It was just nothing. Stanhope was so badly was dancing around trying to talk about it. Depp had it incorporated into their divorce agreement, the $7 million that
yes.
you never donated, that you drop all lawsuits. And I think the first thing he was that he was terrified Stanhope would be taken for all he was worth. I mean, he can't afford that.
Well, imagine she likes to drag this shit out.
Yes.
Eventually, she would come up with a story where Stanhope hit her.
The Howard stuff had a gag order on it too. When he went on Howard, her people got word of that, and they put a gag order on.
Of course.
Because that's the most he spoke about it, and I'm trepidatious about playing that. I have it all here. It's from 2016 June, and I have it all. It's about 16 minutes, but I'm more inclined
we got
to
hit
put it
last
on the
time you played
Patreon
it.
channel.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put it on Patreon. We got hit last time you played it.
I want to put it in long form, and I want to combine it with the 2013 appearance stand-up on Howard, where he talks about the origin of their relationship. So when it becomes known, and Howard's, of course, trying to draft onto it because he's not friends with Depp and never will be, and he's jealous of him. He can't hang. I mean, that pussy couldn't run with that crowd. And it's so many Howard adjacent stuff with Depp, from Manson to it's constant. Downey Jr. I think Downey was the reason Howard was trying to take the woke stance. So he's trying to be like Mr. Feminazi. I'm going to take Amber Heard's side. He didn't know he the worst take in all, and he did it 3 weeks after. And then I think Downey set him straight, and then he tried to backpedal on him. It was such a horrible, weak take.
You put all that on Patreon.
Orson Welles was that bonk thing. That's right. Okay. So Sarah found this. So an excerpt of Stanhope's audiobook is released. This is a current audiobook. Rodney says Arm is such a Luddite, he can't get an ad blocker to pause the screen recording because I bet play the F out of NBA 2K. What's the problem? I am a weird dichotomy. I'm a strange walking contradiction. I could be like phenomenally adept at certain computer things, and then I could be a total Luddite on the other side. I don't think you can master it all. I really think we have our little gaffes and blind spots with computers. I don't think you can master it all. I just don't. Right, Sarah? I love the Orson Welles meltdowns. One of the best. You love it, Sarah. You have a Schadenfreude laugh when something happens. You got that Howard. Howard has a Schadenfreude laugh. You have a Schadenfreude laugh.
Okay, so I'm never gonna laugh again.
No, I want you to laugh. I'm just saying you love. That's a guaranteed laugh. Is me either having an anger spell or some. That's a guaranteed. You so love that.
I just love when people get a glimpse into real life.
Yeah, I know. Hey, at least I played it, right?
And you switching back to Feeney instantly is
I know. So it's at was it at the 20? It was 2 minutes.
Relent. Haven't
here it is.
The same video.
Yeah, no.
Right here. What is the problem? Problem.
adorable when you're angry.
Will you send that to me and I will cut that
Sure.
out?
I'm
And
sure Bon Jovial has it right now from
I'm gonna put
Melvin's
it in the
email.
intro for the next show Sunday.
The best Ben 4810. The best way to release your anger at the Depp gig is Arms to Scream. Play. Ho, Silver Lining, Jeff. Watch that wide load, Jeff. Between each song, I should go there and heckle him and get kicked. That'd be great.
No.
To Arm, when you get pissed at a text, try to remember the Louis C.K. bit. Everything's amazing and nobody's happy. Oh, I don't know if I know that one. Donnie Wahlberg can make me take him all. He's hanging tough. Is it hanging? I think it's the right stuff.
Step by
Is
step.
what step by step is what he does. Okay, that is definitely the motorcycle. Okay, we have it confirmed. You paid entirely too much attention. Kid, shame on you. It was, Texaho, MTV just, you couldn't avoid it. It was just everywhere, even if you wanted to. There was a time when there was about a year and a half period when New Kids on the Block was just, you could not avoid it. It was just, no matter who you were, it was MTV played it every 5 minutes. Donnie was a dark horse from Joke, Street Thug, remember of New Kids on the Block, to Infinite Residuals of Blue Buds, banging the hot and bailing Marky Mark out. Donnie was the reason Marky Mark's not in jail, right? Didn't he have to do some kind of? He had to. I don't know if it was a character verification or take him in or some kind of the stuff.
I don't even know
the
for sure the
Asian,
story.
blinding the Asian, and then the wilding thing.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you more about their bodyguard Biscuit than I can tell you about
Thank you, Julia Trash.
Mark Wahlberg blinding a man.
So this is Sarah found a excerpt of Doug Stanhope's new audiobook, which I guess they're leaking it out little by little.
We got this off Twitter.
So right here, got this off Twitter.
In the ensuing days, I watched on Twitter as the mob vilified Depp as being a wife beater, and people actually attacked me online for being his friend. It was agonizing trying to hold my tongue, but I did not respond. It was not my place. But eventually I hit a breaking point. I called Johnny's sister to talk about my frustration and having to keep my mouth shut. With her tacit blessing, or at least that's how I read it, I decided to write a press release in Johnny's defense. I knew that
Texaho writes, so Sarah's never gonna laugh again. Guilty feet have got no freedom. Well written.
I'd be seen as a blind apologist, someone taking one side of a news story for my own ends rather than someone who had real-life knowledge. Johnny, for the moment, was publicly shit-smeared and feathered. And we didn't give a fuck because we knew the truth. I hadn't heard from Johnny since that mimosa afternoon when he predicted his own demise.
That's Lauren Marie's Mondays. Remember that, Sarah, from the trial? Lauren came on and she said, I'm having mimosas with Momo on a Monday. Yep. And we were so jealous of her. We were doing the live trial streaming. That sounds like that's such a Depp scenario. Stan Depp hope.
It was nearly a week later that he'd read what I released, and he sent me a text thanking me for what I'd written. I'm just so fucking thankful for the truth, and beautifully written truth. I'm proud to have you representing me.
There's a compliment from Fudgesicle, Sarah. Sarah, are you familiar with Sam Roberts from the old Open Anthem show?
Get through this, and then I'll answer that.
Easy, Liz Cheney. I'm answering it. We could
no,
stop.
I'm getting into it, and then you
really
stop it.
Goddamn moved to tears with your piece. I'm proud to have you representing me. I truly was really goddamn moved to tears with your piece. In any case, thank fuck I'm on the road in Europe. Aha! I cannot thank you and Bingo enough. The best goddamn friends a man can have. Still feeling wrong, my head is its own worst enemy. My very own crumbling nightmare circus is eating me alive.
So that stops right there. That's not us stopping it. That's what they released. I don't know how available the whole... I'm sorry?
What's the problem?
I don't know what more is... I don't know if his full audiobook is available right now. I'm sure Johnny Bye Bye is uploading it right now as we speak. I think it is, and we need to really, really sift through that if that's any example, because it abruptly stops. And it sounds like there's a solid 15 minutes where that came from after it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of, he fills in the gaps of a lot of what we just read. He's in touch with his sister, and I guess now all the NDA is off, and he's allowed to. He's been waiting for this moment to release his book,
Of
and
course.
so much of this book's release is going to be predicated on. And I'm sure he's going to try to do fucking Howard's show if Plughead is coming, but he can't. He can't retire fast enough. I want him to go. I heard a rumor that he's going to not even make it to December. I hope he goes away.
I don't even care.
I cannot wait for him to fucking just go. But I mean, the classic showbiz rule, right? He's torn it limb from limb. Know when to get off the stage, and that was 10 years, no, 12 years ago, at
You
least.
think
For you, it
double
was
that?
18 years ago.
Yeah, I know who Sam Roberts is, by the way. Fudge is cool. Real scumbag back in the day on Opie and Anthony. Yeah, I do see how you compare the two, though. I do laugh. Like if somebody falls in front of me, not an old person, but like if somebody slips, instantly I laugh, and I don't mean to. That's just what comes out.
It's a schadenfreude laugh.
Yeah, probably.
You're happy. It's not you that's slipping.
Yeah, because it's always me.
Deep down. It's because it's always you. You're relating to the Jack Tripper and me, or the Pat Cooper. Do you not get angry, Sarah, like that? You don't blow up like ever?
Well, there
Are
was
you
one.
Miss Perfect? You never
I
have
really
an
don't.
explosion
I
like
really
that?
don't blow up. But if you attack me like personally, or attack somebody, like somebody says something about me that's not true, whatever. Give me 5 minutes and I will cut you down verbally to the core that festers inside of you. I can do that, but it takes a lot for me to get to that point.
That's okay, Texas. I totally screwed up the George Michael lyric. My bad. How dare you screw up a George Michael lyric? I knew what you meant. I thought you were adding your own Texaho twist to it when you did it. That's fine. We got the. I think I appreciate the effort. I barely noticed it. I thought you rewrote the lyric. Rest assured. Go ahead,
You
Sarah.
wanna
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna give you the trident, my embarrassing trident story. You ready? My
Oh,
ex and
my
I
version. Okay, I got my
Yeah, yeah.
trailer.
My ex and I were walking through some snow and he fell and I laughed so hard at him. I didn't know if he was injured or not. I laughed so hard at him, I peed myself.
Is black guy?
Yeah.
Okay, that I need the visualization. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And because he fell, how did he react to the snow? You know, black guys in snow, right?
Well, half, but
Okay.
yeah, it took a minute to get up and I couldn't even help him because I was laughing so hard.
Barbara Babs the Rush says Harry will not have he's too controversial for him, Barbara. You're probably right. He won't go near the topic. I think you're absolutely right. It's over his head. He can't handle it. I think you're so right. I think the more that drones out, he didn't know how to talk about it. It was the worst take I've heard. Period. He had 3 weeks to play with it. Couldn't give a good take. He didn't know, couldn't backpedal fast enough. The worst. Him and current events, that show has no business being live at all. He can't handle current events. I think you're absolutely right. He doesn't have the balls to have him on anymore. And he views Stanhope as beneath his show. He doesn't have the status anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at him as beneath star power wise. He doesn't fit the Marcy criteria. Like, thank you, Pellel. I hope he goes away too. I hope not, Fansha. I hope Dennis thinks he's not going to come back till October. He's going to avoid. He's going to lay low and let the Ben start. He's too much to. I hope he doesn't. I hope there's some extended thing that. I just hope he's gone. I want him to go away for good. I don't want it to. The current show does not deserve our attention. It doesn't deserve coverage. He is. Like I said, no one to get off the stage that is torn limb from limb. He should have retired 12 years ago. Howard can't just having undyed hair that's full after age 68, so he's going to retire and be remembered as the eternally young rocker of Barbados. Yep, it's all about the vanity, David. I couldn't agree more. It's all about the vanity. It runs every fucking bit of his mind. Okay, next should we do? Okay, this is the thing that Sarah and I found this and we played it on. This was like during the trial. Stanhope was on Greg Fitzsimmons' video podcast, and I don't know what became of this. He had planned on having some kind of ambush secret stand-up show
Mm-hmm.
where Depp people were supposed to, and I heard no follow up to this whatsoever. So
Yeah.
he floated this on Fitzsimmons's podcast with Christina Haji from Head of the Class. I think they used to date and they remained friends. And she came on there with him, and this is what Steph Taylor's talking about. This is a redhead killing it, and she's in her mid-50s, I think.
Yeah.
Fucking Manson showed up with coke like John
Oh, I
Goodman
remember
did
that.
in Flight. If
Yeah.
you've never seen that,
And it's back in anytime there's Manson, there's coke involved, and that doesn't help. So, the whole drug thing and the Manson stank on Depp is annoys me more than anybody. I can't quite don't want to get my head around it. Nobody wants Manson to go away more than I do. Nobody wants him to be Me Too'd from the universe
I think
more than me.
I think you just want to be close to your friend, and you think Manson's in the way.
Mother Teresa he is in the way. He is in the way. He does not have Andrew Morgan, Mother Teresa with a switchblade. Sarah B.
movie Flight, it was
Denzel Washington and
yeah.
Yeah.
It was exactly like that.
I remember him in the green room. I didn't know he had coke.
No, no, I'm not gonna kill it. I'm gonna wait for Brian Hennigan.
This is the end of the podcast. It's like an hour and 20 minutes in, I think. Stand-up's completely wasted. He's been drinking the whole time. He's not sure. You could hear the slur, but it's better because he's more of a loose cannon. So he's kind of like in this weird, what would you say? What's the word I'm looking for? Intermittent delivery of just revealing this covert Fairfax, Northern Virginia stand-up show he's trying to book in the beginning of the Fairfax trial. And I don't know what became of this.
To get fucking no encore for the donkey out.
So you got some road dates coming up. I want to mention those.
Sony Music Hall. The only other one you have to remember is April 11th. What's going to happen there? 2 blocks away from the Fairfax County Courthouse on April 11th. Do I have to hint anymore?
Wow.
Yeah, but you're only...
So he still has the gag order on him here, Sarah. So he's still terrified about her lawyers, even though, as we found out, that was somewhat severed. But he's not allowed to talk. He just agreed. Depp got her not to sue him, but he's not allowed to talk about it as per this agreement. So he's trying to dance around it with him, but he's not one to listen to that. The last guy that's going to adhere to his gag order is Stanhope. He just can't handle it. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to either.
Going to be able to find out where I'm playing. It's a 90-seater if you're in the D.C. area.
Also, if you're in the
Fudsicle writes, Stanhope loves off-roading too much. He calls out bullshit, so our leader, Marcy Turk, will never allow him. That's true, Fudsicle. I don't think he knows the Stern Show well enough to dig into those nuances and the idiosyncrasies that we know so well. He has I think he thinks he's a super fan, but he's a very passive, quasi-celebrity super fan. So he doesn't know these things to call that out. But if he did, he would. He actually brings up Artie. You know what I'll do? I'll go to the part that we're allowed to play. I'll go to the end of the Stanhope thing because he brings Artie up to Howard. And it's the weirdest thing in 2016. And he forces Howard to talk about Artie. And it's very uncomfortable. And Howard pretends that, we talk about Artie all the time. It's the phoniest fucking thing. I don't think anybody ever heard. I don't think people heard this.
I'm
not going to play the whole thing, Sam. I'm just going to play the last minute or so.
West area.
It's
Key West,
called.
Florida.
I think we're calling it Doug Stanhope, a night of comedy, libel, and what do we say? What's the other word?
He left.
How good does Christine Haji look at 55 years, Sarah, with the triceps? She looks good.
It's opinion.
Oh, you hate all women. Never mind. I shouldn't ask you. I'll ask someone in the chat. You hate all the women.
He was fired.
I think he thinks he's fired.
He's done.
He doesn't care. I've fired him 1,000,000 times for not having this book out. libel, and what do you get sued for by Amber Heard? Oh, dear.
Slander?
Slander and libel.
Slander
There
and
you go.
libel. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, April 11th at Fairfax.
You can't
County
cancel
Courthouse.
that stand-up. That should be your next album.
No,
Uncancelable.
that's where Johnny Depp's. He's suing her, and I don't know why it's in Fairfax, Virginia, but I booked a fucking 90-seater on my way from New York to Key West. Yeah, let's go. Let's go book the first night of the trial of Amber Heard and Johnny.
That cigarette laugh of his, that phlegmy cigarette laugh of his is just, that is just 40 years of, what's that, Stanhope's 55? I figure he's been chain smoking for what, 40 years?
That's disgusting.
Did you hear that?
Of course.
There's not a day. I mean, he walks the walk. There. Look, give it to Stanhope. He's not like these sober comic, that fucking weird Opie and Anthony circle of comics, and they're all sober and they haven't had a drink since they were 6. That's the creepiest thing ever. I don't get that at all. It's almost like they're like. It's like a histrionic thing where they want attention for being sober, so it's like a shtick or something. That they want you to feel sorry for them. Who is traumatized from stopping drinking at 16 and 17? You're not even legal yet. I've never even heard of it. I've never met someone who stopped drinking at 16 and 17. It's so strange to me. Jim Norton, I don't think there's a human being, maybe Howard, that I don't relate to more than him. He's such a fucking worm, pygmy piece of shit. Ugh.
Depp.
Tri-state mollusk.
Book a fucking gig.
Mollusk, who steals Colin Quinn's nomenclature and personality.
That's nice.
Irish pub.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the downstairs of some Irish pub 2 blocks away.
By the way, speaking of which, and I think Fudgesicle said this before, there's a great argument with Norton and Doug Stanhope on Opie and Anthony when Stanhope just goes off on AA. They have this great, I've never heard anybody push back on AA like that. It's made me really, really love Stanhope to another level. And he was kind of calling Norton. I was like, what? You don't drink? I don't understand. And Norton couldn't explain his pathos because there is no pathos. It's just a fucking ninny.
Way.
Uh-huh.
Yes, an evening of comedy, libel, and slander. She fucking sued me
I
just
thought
to
that was
shut
all
me up.
settled. Isn't that all settled?
Mine was.
Oh,
she
yours is.
sued me to shut up.
Yeah.
So my attorney says I can't talk about it on Stern and whatever. Well, I'm still not going to talk about it, but I'm going to rope a bunch of fucking TMZ fucking narcs into paying $50.
Yeah, so I should say too. So during this, apparently Stanhope invited, the basic media and paparazzi to his show where he was going to leak stuff about her and the trial. But nothing became. Sarah, I don't think he ever.
I heard nothing about it.
I don't think he even did it. I don't think
and we discussed it before. That was one of the things we were looking forward to, was getting leaks and audio leaks from it.
It was one of
Nothing
my
ever
very
happened.
favorite things. Yeah, exactly.
3 weeks in, I'm like, haven't heard anything about that. Was it canceled? I don't know.
It had to be just canceled. There was no follow-up.
Yeah.
And it sounds like so the move was he was going to do a stand-up show, like a kind of like a spoken word, not necessarily stand-up, but he was just going to rant about them in a setting where it's not a public thing, which he could speak his mind to these people. So he was going to invite the media to report on this as if, he didn't invite them. They're just eavesdropping on him. So he was going to leak stuff in a stand-up show, which is kind of a brilliant thing, but he never did it. Nothing became of it.
Yeah.
Julianne Moore. That's a good one, David. She does look a little bit like Julianne Moore. Actually, she's prettier than Julianne Moore, though.
I agree with Pillow.
What do you say?
She looks like Julianne Moore on meth.
On meth. Julian meth.
Seeing it, and I'll never talk about it.
Before that, he's in New York. I think April 7th.
Listen to those
New York dates.
Oh, yeah. We're going to sell
He's on April 7th.
no, Johnny Depp, God damn it, they have all these Depp.
Oh, he takes a shot at the Deptford wives here. This is kind of funny.
All these Depp people, they're fucking sorry, but you are weird. but they're Justice for Johnny.
Okay.
Hashtag Justice for Johnny.
Uh-huh.
I can't do it, but you can do
Yeah.
it. Hashtag Justice for Johnny.
Get some justice for Johnny. It's a fucking travesty what's happening. But
no, just fuck.
David,
Why
go
do
stand
they?
up. Go ahead.
Why do they all say Johnny?
Yeah, I know. Amber Heard does the same thing. JAWNNIE.
Why? Just make it
Or
easy.
what?
Why?
Yeah. Johnny. I mean, he's from New England, so I'll give him the Boston accent still kind of lingering a little bit. That's him saying Johnny. In all honesty, I don't feel what I did was a crime, and I find it illogical and irresponsible for you to sentence me to prison. Because if you think about it, what did I do? I crossed an imaginary line with a bunch of plants.
I just want all the Depp heads to fucking come to the show and fuck off with all the TMZ narcs. Can you get me out of here?
What is this?
That made me laugh. I love that highball. The sounds of ice. I jerked off to the sounds of that ice. Listen to this ice clacking. This is like everything. This is ASMR to me.
What is this? You need to talk about this?
Come to the show and fuck off with all the TMZ narcs. Can you get me out of here?
What is this? You need to talk about this?
what's this?
No, I tried to write that down, but that guy over there.
I feel like these are crib notes for.
Yeah, his wardrobe. So this leads me to which came up in a thing. Depp actually wrote the foreword for him in his book. And I should say this. I don't know why I forgot to say this. Depp, he works for Depp's production company, Infinitum Nihil. Depp produced his last two stand-up specials. So if you watch Doug's stand-up specials, it says special thanks, or it says Infinitum Nihil in the credits. Depp is listed as a producer. A lot of people don't realize that. And it was the on the balls of his ass Depp period where he was some quote unquote canceled. So if you go watch Stanhope's last two stand-up specials, you see Depp and his sister and all that Infinitum Nihil all over the credits.
Yeah.
They were supposed to do a sitcom, Sarah. Remember that?
No, I don't.
Depp, they had written a show idea for him, and Depp was supposed to produce a show for him. I don't know what the premise of it was. It might have been like a Louis show, where he's kind of playing himself kind of thing, which everybody's doing now. Like Mark Maron has a version of Larry David Larry David started it all. And so they're all doing versions of that sort of Curb Your Enthusiasm format.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just going to be called Stanhope.
Okay.
I think that's what they were going to do. So anyway, so that nothing became of that Fairfax thing. He hyped it. We were really excited for it. I looked and looked and looked. It never came. Dry drunks. Thank you, Melvin. They're dry drunks. I loathe Jim Norton. I don't wish him well. I do wish you well, Melvin. You are a treasure to us. I can't thank you enough for all
One
your
of the greats.
tireless research contributions over and over. That stellar crowd of comedians strike me as men who worship their father, says David. Like, if you're a man over 30 who sees no flaws in your dad, you're an insane person. I'm tired of blaming parents. I'm tired of blaming kids. I'm tired of parents who hate their kids and rip their kids. That's why we love us some Tiger Lily. And we love us, my sister's the same way. She loves her kids and isn't afraid to tell you about it. I'm tired of parents who shouldn't have had kids you and your parents get along famously, right, Sarah? You don't have that problem.
Perfect. We have no issues.
That's good. It's good to see. I like that. I'm tired of
my second greatest support system on the planet.
Scott Barlow says, well, I fell in love with Norton for about a month. Then I realized he's a big phony, and I hate him as much as I hate the wig. Thank you, Scott Barlow. I always love your verification and approval. Carrie says Gina. Johnny with it. That's good. See this?
Mm-hmm. Johnny.
Johnny. That's pretty good, Bale. I like that pronunciation, Kay. Well, those are real. Oh my God. Yes, I don't know. Thank you, Gina. I don't know what you're the ice. I just talked about the ice. Clinkety clink. It's my favorite fucking sound in the world. Did you cut the portion of this interview where the redhead honks Doug's wiener through his polyester pants? Is that true, Melvin? Melvin always catches
Oh my God.
Melvin's such a
yeah, that's true.
Melvin's such a horn dog. Pervy Melvin is the best. And his Camille obsession. Melvin has kind of got a little Mr. Skin in him, don't you think? Oh, he knows all those
I would say so.
Yeah.
Are you at the beach?
David says, I want to see Depp in a sitcom version about his marriage to Amber, and I want Scarlett Johansson to play Amber. That's good, David. You know, I think that's coming soon. They're going to do some take on it, and Scarlett Johansson was born to goof on Amber Heard. She doesn't have to do much because Amber Heard's basically stolen her whole inflection and personality and speech cadence and the whole thing.
I'm at the
So
point. I want her to go away, and I really mean that. I'm so tired of it.
I do too.
I don't care anymore about the appeal.
I whine all the time about the grifters and the legal, all the lawyers that tried to draft onto this, and all these posers that try to pretend they're that this popcorn planetization of trying to pretend you're a fan and like you're worried about justice. You're not worried about justice. You're a grifter, and you're latching on to whatever the fucking shiny new object story is. All of you. We were doing this show. We were almost hoping the trial didn't exist.
I didn't even want to talk about the trial, and we were almost forced to.
Because we were doing this show with or without it. We talked about it. We're like, I don't want to. And then it's going to take over what our original plan. It's very obviously it's fascinating, and there's tons of, but it's so beat to death, and it so dominates what he is. And my fear for him going into this was, he's no longer. She's ridiculously like where you're never going to look at her and not think about. She has no hope of having anything in terms of a career or any kind of thing that's separate from this. You're never going to look at her again without thinking of this. Unfortunately, Depp has 75% of the same thing.
Yeah.
The general public is not going to look at Depp without thinking about this trial. And he has such a legacy behind him, even though I hate his decisions in the 2012 to 2017 period. Nevertheless, he has such a crazy legacy. He's such an amazing chameleon talent on every level. And the range he has is unmatched. He is the only guy that has the ability to be a leading man and a crazy character. Had to go from Daniel Day-Lewis to a leading man. No one can do this.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he's going to have the stank of this trial on for the rest of it, regardless of how right you think he is. It is going to be impossible to rid himself of the stank of this trial, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. It's because it was televised, which was really his idea. But you wonder, like, if it's not televised, how does the what ifness of this trial not being televised, which kind of. And we would be, reading the transcript, but we wouldn't. I think it would have gone away if it wasn't televised.
Yeah. No, I agree. We wouldn't know anything about it. We would be told completely different than what actually happened. And God forbid, I've said this, it's tiresome at this point, but that comment about the mutual abuse from the therapist would have gone much out the door and around the world 10 more times than it did.
And she was the first one to. She was literally. Was she the third witness to go?
No, she's probably like 5th or 6th.
The marriage counselor. She was early. I think she was. Was she week 1?
No, she was early. She was maybe day 4 or 5.
Was it okay? That's one I want to go back to. I think she got dismissed as like a
Lily
nothing
Tomlin.
burger. She had yes, very Lily Tomlin. She had a lot of good stuff. And again, I think some of these like video witnesses need to be transcribed because they had a lot of stuff to say. It was just delivered in such a monotone, soporific, boring tone that you couldn't embrace it, and you'd sort of drift. But they were saying important shit. It just needs to be. I mean, like, the UK trial. We transcripted that, and it's so much of the unsealed documents is basically the UK trial. And it would have gone the way of the UK trial. He appealed it and lost it. And
no, he didn't even get the appeal.
He didn't get the appeal. They just shot it down immediately. Right. That was that televised? That was televised.
No, it wasn't televised.
No, the judges shooting the appeal down was televised. Somehow there was a camera.
Oh, you're right.
It
was like a private stream that you had to be invited to.
Very boring. I mean, it is so tough to watch, even for us.
No, what happened was he appealed based on they had just found out she actually did not make that donation to the charities. When under oath, she testified that she was not a gold digger because she had donated the divorce settlement to the charities.
Yeah.
So they found out after, of course, the judge ruled that she had not. I don't know why they couldn't find that out before, but that was the basis for the appeal, and nope, they didn't even
And
get
Nichols signed off on 12 out of 15 abuse
Yeah.
cases.
The problem with that is too, if you think she's lying about even one of them, why would you rule in favor of her for any of
Right.
them?
Substantially true was the phrase they like to use.
Yeah, but you think about
Substantially
it
true.
though. If she lied once, why do you believe her about any of the other ones?
Yeah, but you got to admit, like us going through the transcripts, you were not. You were. You definitely were circumspect about him, way more so than you
Of
were during
course.
Fairfax, because we were way more shit got out negative about him
They
during the
took
Fairfax
the
trial.
UK transcripts, and people go listen to those. I think I'm proud of
You
those. They're
you're
very long
brilliant. You're
episodes.
brilliant as Sasha Wass, by the way,
But
and you're really good as Tracy Jacobs as well. Sasha Wass did a great job during that.
But they took that testimony and they approved it for the Fairfax trial.
Yeah,
Whatever he did wrong there, they had, something to base it on and what they needed to improve,
it was a dry
and they
run.
certainly did it.
It was a dry run, and they had to, they had a nice template for what not to do, and it's like, the old definition of insanity is repeating the same thing, blah blah blah, and expecting different results. Well, they went the other way. We got to shoot this down. We got to stop. We got to truncate the Tracy Jacobs transcript, because that really makes him look bad. I mean, that's his ex-agent. If you go through that and you read it's about 430 pages. I don't think he's ever looked as bad as that whole thing. And then the stuff right down to where Amber Heard's about to blurt out. She didn't even know how to phrase it. And Camille knew how to object her into oblivion when she was going to reveal that Lily Rose is living with a 24-year-old at 15. And that got it. Oh, it's got nothing to do with it. Well, the jury doesn't care. They just hear something and they don't like them. And that's all you got to do is convince one of them to go on her side. That's all you needed.
Doesn't have anything to do with the abuse, though.
It doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter. I don't think the
does.
jury gave a shit. I don't think they gave a shit. It's all about optics and what they like.
I would say his testimony, going back to that, was
It proved he's a liar, Sarah, is what it proved. He
Okay.
lied to the cops about what was happening. And that's destroys his credibility if they got that out there. He lied to the cops. He told Tracy Jacobs he lied to the cops about his own daughter living with a 24-year-old on his compound. So that's what that would have done. Like it or not, that happened.
Didn't say it didn't, but I don't think it had anything to do with the abuse verdict from the jury.
I'm not saying it did. I'm saying that there's your mind wanders when you're on that jury, and you eventually, I think 1,000 times they forgot what the case was about. Is it about defamation? Is it about losing money? Is it about this article? Is it about abuse? Is it about they would move the goalpost more than Ray Wershing during that trial.
Mm-hmm.
The magnitude of charisma, his beloved spite. And Texaho, spot on. The charisma is his superpower. It is everything. And I truly believe that is, at the end of the day, what won that case for him. It is. He's insane. His charisma is unlike anything you'll ever see in 100 years in terms of, I mean, you might know people, but in terms of Hollywood, nobody has his charisma. Say what you will about him. He has his superpower is he can. I mean, for you to root for him in a movie like Blow, he's responsible for 85% of the cocaine that's in the United States, and you're rooting for him to come through.
And Barbara, yeah, they did wear the wigs in the UK trial. And Vita, says the audio tapes made the difference. I don't believe they were allowed in the UK. Yeah, they weren't allowed in the UK because she wasn't under oath when she admitted to hitting him. So that the judge was looking for any reason to simp her and receive that payout at the end for giving the son the proper or the positive verdict.
Thank you, Vita, and welcome.
Good.
We're at what 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Do you have any Depp versus Stern stuff?
Well, I want to play for you. So now, I think a lot of people don't know this, that Depp did the foreword for Doug Stanhope's book. And I think it went a little something like this. By the way, Sarah, you get a lot of compliments on your ability to public domain yourself. You and David would be a great collaboration about soundtracks for things of public domain and avoiding copyrights. And you get a lot of compliments on this music. Where can I find this? Somebody said this to you in one of the comments. I forget. I want to bring her name up because I wanted to compliment. She gave you a compliment about composing this because you did.
I didn't compose this.
It's got the gravitas.
But you should have given this to me. I would have cut the intro out.
No, we want. So this is right out of Stanhope's book. Depp did the forward for it. It's kind of short. It's short and sweet, pithy.
It's also
but
on the
good.
channel by itself.
Yes.
Dear reader, he is a depraved, reluctant, visionary, and debauched, accidental guru who wears old suits that were likely once some dead fucker's Saturday night prowling outfit. He is a man of the people who says what must be said, for no one else will. Total honesty, consequence be damned. No fluffy outside, no creamy inside. You get what you get it. He's our savior. For here in this life, where the only guarantee is the ceasing of breath and a healthy death tax for our loved ones, he is the one man who dares to plunge the cold dagger of truth deep into the collective brain-dead psyche of our species for the ultimate benefit of all humankind. And certainly not since my dearest friend and mentor, Hunter, have I known an individual with such a profoundly strong sense of moral justice. It makes me sick. So I suppose I must ultimately admit that I do not like this man I speak of. I fucking love him. Him being Doug Stanhope. Johnny Depp, Los Angeles, California, 19th of February, 2016.
Nice job.
Saratas, that music. So you can hear the Thompson prose in his writing, right? When you listen to that, you just think Hunter S. Thompson in an ESPN2 column writing a little screed. And I love the target pictures next to it.
Mm-hmm.
You see Depp in a pedestrian scenario. Lily Rose on Depp's left. You have Bingo on his right with Stanhope. And they went to Target, I think.
I want to know what they bought.
I do too. I can't remember.
Do you think
the
he took
backstory
that
behind
lawn chair down, unfolded it, and laid on it for a minute?
who Depp or Stanhope?
Depp.
Oh, like doing tomfoolery.
Yeah.
Tom Hansen foolery. I do think he did that. I do. You mean flooded? They have. This is he did this in 2015, February 19th when he wrote this.
I think 16.
16 it says in the.
Yeah.
It's like deliberately pre-distressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just I need to read it. I don't need the pre-distressed pretension. Only Bono and Johnny Depp can get away with this level of pretentiousness, flowery language, people over Bono. Yet I'm willing to give Depp a pass. That's his skill, Texaho. You're absolutely right. How many people could pull that off and not get shunned and laughed at? You're absolutely right.
What I was going to say earlier, I think his testimony in Fairfax was done perfectly. Even like the points that were made on cross-examination,
Running out the clock.
They were nothing.
Well,
he admitted to his faults, unlike she did. That made him more relatable. And they did the perfect thing with their case. The plaintiff's case was getting ahead of the drug thing immediately.
We have Ronnie Seabach telling us that he's deliberately doing a Christopher Walken impression where he's paused. I mean, we know his speech cadence changes by the day. It's different all the time. He never sounds the same. And so during the trial, his friend Josh Richmond, aka Ronnie Seabach, said that he was deliberately doing a Christopher Walken impression where he's pausing to run the clock out inefficiently to add more gravitas.
Well, that's why at the very end, Rottenborn had 6 minutes to put the rebuttal on. The rebuttal closing argument. Bravo. If that's what your plan was, bravo, you did it.
It's interesting to hear if you can catch, and there's a ton of them now, and little by little, like Camille Vasquez, Ms. Vasquez, and Ben Chu will do interviews, and they kind of reveal some of the strategies as they left the place and some of the plotting they do, and it's very fascinating to hear how long they prepared for it and what went into it and who was in it. And after they left the place, they went right back to the war room. 5 o'clock, 5 p.m., right back in and get at the sweatpants and prepare for the next day. Take out. And Chu said he wasn't even involved. He just kind of would kind of hang back.
Was it Ty?
Well, he was John O'Reilly to reference the Northern Virginia eateries, the Ben Chu.
I'm starving, so I'm thinking about takeout.
God, don't mention Bono, Texo, the ultimate brown nose to the president's investee with Jared Kushner.
I didn't know Bono was on that side of the aisle.
No, he's a total. Bono's as left wing as he's more lefty than fucking Steve Carlton and Kenny Anderson.
That's what I thought.
No, he's just comparing what Bono does to what Kushner does. He's not saying they're the same. I think he's just comparing. Of course, Johnny listed the date of the UK way, the first day, then month. Never changed, Johnny, says Fudge.
No, of course.
What else do I have here? How about you want to say the Kate Moss thing?
I don't know the Kate Moss thing.
Well, this was, and again, Johnny Bob, I thank you so much. He gave us the Kate Moss biography. We talked about this, and it's now a story. She did an interview for like Vogue online.
Is this about the necklace?
Yes.
It doesn't bother me. What she says he did. I'd still wear it.
No, it's a cute little. No, I think it's romantic. It's definitely romantic.
No problem.
And that diamond necklace Johnny gave me, they were the first diamonds I had.
Very, very. By the way, very hard to find audio footage of Kate Moss speaking. Very difficult. We had the Stuttering John thing from the mid 2000s, and it's. I can't think of more than a half dozen times I've heard her speak.
He pulled them out.
Almost as bad as Jeffrey Epstein.
The crack of his arm. We were going out for dinner. Johnny gave me. They were the first diamonds I ever owned. He pulled them out the crack of his arm. We were going out for dinner, and he said, "I've got something on my bum. Can you have a look?" And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I put my hand down his trousers.
Ooh.
And I pulled out a diamond necklace. That diamond necklace.
The stereotypical British stereotype. She has a big cup of tea right there on her right. They just plotted that. It's just like a fucking prop.
I think she looks great.
She does look good.
I love that top on her.
I think she's my age, and she's just a shade under 50. She looks good. I haven't seen her in years.
Yeah.
I think she looks as good now as she did in her skeletal heroin period.
She looks much better to me. Having kids filled her out a bit.
How many kids does she have? I forget.
I don't know. I
She's
think
got
2.
a few.
At least
2.
one.
She has 2. Yes, she has 2. Yes, that's what I read. She has 2.
I would still wear it. Just wash it off and happily wear it. And I'll happily check the front of his trousers while she checks the back.
She must have done. She hit at a modeling period, and where she really cleaned up as much as you possibly could. Like I remember first seeing her. Remember the Marky Mark ad she had.
Yeah, but it's easy to forget who she dated after Depp.
Pete Doherty.
Yes, I didn't think she was going to live through that because she was doing drugs just like him, like he was.
Right.
He was shooting blood all over television cameras from a syringe. Well, that's what he was doing. But there was speculation, he had AIDS because he was shooting up every day.
Right.
She was in it with him, and they were together for, I think, years.
Any other celebrity trysts?
Are you at the beach? It's very windy.
No, that was the fan. The fan hit the microphone. I heard it too. I actually caught it this time. Any other celebrity tryst with her, Sarah?
None that come to mind.
Did she date one of the Gallagher brothers from Oasis?
She probably did.
Or am I just assuming that because they hung out with Depp?
They did every British woman in Britain.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but
I don't consider Texaho a poser. Do you, Sarah?
I never had that thought.
If you call yourself a poser, that takes the piss out of it. Like, I mean, if you know what I mean? Like, you can't be a poser if you call yourself a poser because you have a self-awareness. So posers don't have self-awareness, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Does that make sense?
You make all the sense in the
You
world.
you get in front of it almost.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Kate Moss. And I want to thank Johnny Bye Bye because we were on this. I got a great story too that was verified. There's a guy who used to work at the Viper Room. He's going around. He's a real Jesus freak, and he's trying to smear Depp. He had some weird feud with Paul Barisi, the fixer we talk about, who we're going to go into on Sunday. And this guy is telling tales of the Viper Room, and he has a story, and it's about you know how one of the things that comes up with the Depp detractors is that he's very jealous.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember his friend Bruce Witkin said that he was jealous of Nicolas Cage, and who was Adam Ant? Remember that he brought up Adam Ant in the trial?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so Bruce Witkin, you know his friend Bruce from Miramar, and he's in The Kids, and he looks like John Turturro and Sal Jenko had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Said that Depp was jealous of Nicolas Cage, who got him his first acting gig with Nightmare on Elm Street. And he was jealous of Nicolas Cage and Adam Ant. It was the weirdest thing. And then when you saw Ellen Barkin had she goes, he's just a jealous man. He's just jealous of everything. He wanted to know where I was going all the time. And he's just a really jealous man. So this guy says the same thing on the Viper Room. Kate Moss was dirty dancing with another broad, and Depp apparently, this is according to this guy, got so enraged in jealousy state that he ripped her off and he shoved the woman to his security and had her bounced out of the Viper Room because he was jealous of a lesbian dance with Kate Moss and whoever this broad was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play this on Sunday because I found this the other day and I didn't think we'd have time for it tonight, and we don't. But it's a nice big chunk. It's a half-hour thing he does, talking about stories of Depp abuse that he's apparently witnessed at the Viper Room as an employee of the Viper Room. It's in the audio, though. It's not a video.
Okay.
Texas, I had an English pen pal in the 80s, started crossing my sevens like Brits do. A lifelong tick of mine. That's interesting when the stuff sticks with you. I do it too, Texo, because you want to differentiate the 7 from the 1. I do that too. I also adopted the European date convention after working in the airline industry. That's good. I love a good Texaho biography. But that's just me. Texaho was in Pan Am with was Amber Heard in that? No, I'm thinking of the Playboy Club. Christina Ricci was in. Remember that stewardess show that was on ABC?
Barely.
It's called Pan Am or something.
I don't even know if I do.
Bono don't care about political side. Just craves a friendship with power. Bono. He and Bob Geldof got found in Kushner's mansion on January 6th. What? That's a strange story.
That hurt your heart?
No, I don't know. I don't know that story. I can't. I'm trying to put it together. It's a lot to.
I'm gonna give you some information. They're all hypocrites.
The top. Andrew Morgan says that top will look great on my bedroom floor.
Gotta figure out how to get it off of her, though.
It's a Bengals top, isn't it? Technically.
No, Bengal is a tiger, not a cheetah.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you just put orange in there, it's the Bengals style. It's like a fucking it's like an Icky Woods jersey. James Brooks is my favorite Bengal of all time, by the way. Andrew Morgan, one of the most underrated running backs. He really was, Sarah, the Kareem Hunt of his time. Like multifaceted back who could receive the ball and just as well as he could run it. It's kind of he's kind of on the small side. He was with Chuck Muncie in the San Diego early 80s. And then he went to Cincinnati. He became like a superstar. Great. One of the greatest running backs in the 80s, I feel. Early 90s, too. He made it to the early. Played with Boomer Esiason. Adam Ant. Adam Ant is considered like a really good-looking guy, Sarah. I can't remember what he looks like.
No, not really.
Cool looking, kind of like faux punk pop look, with the spiky. I think I can visualize him again. I haven't seen him in a long time. The rest of the story is that he pushed her into security. Okay, Melvin knows the story. Melvin, what are you looking at? He's amazing. Did he look that up or he knew it? No,
He knew it. What
Melvin.
do you think?
Oh, I don't know with him. The rest of the story goes like this: is that he pushed her into security's arms and then into the town car and whisked back to the mansion for hot three-way action. Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a good night.
That's classic. Nice editorializing, Melvin.
She probably thanked him.
Advanced mathematics, crossing sevens, striking zeros for the smart people. Made it. Oh, Melvin. I bought it for, Melvin, you had me for about 20 seconds and I knew. All right, everyone. I am going to say goodnight to everyone and thank everyone in the chat for your brilliance as usual and facilitating us to even get to 3 hours. I love everyone in this chat. I love all your comments. I don't think I neglected anyone, right? I got to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I want to urge everyone, if you're not on our Patreon, I will make it worth your while. It's the lowest tier. I'm going to put the full Stanhope Stern audio talking about the Depp Heard stuff, which is verboten. And I'm going to combine it with the shit from 2013. It's probably going to be a good half hour, I think, of verboten speech that is blocked on YouTube. So that's all. That place is just for. So the last thing I put up was Slow Burn, the Showtime movie with Beverly D'Angelo and Eric Roberts, and I kind of upscaled it to 720, and I enhanced the volume, and it's the full movie. It's just like, it's so, who cares? It's not. It's basically, I'm taking ownership of it. It's my public domain, and I will put up that, and I will put up. I guess I put up the Hate Man compilation last time, so I'll put up I have 5 more hours of that. So
Oh
it's
my
Hate
God.
Woman and Hate Man, the whole compilation of them on the answer machine, calling Howard out at a time when nobody else would. Thank you, Andrew. Ben, 481. Kyle Sierra. Good night, Kylo. Good night, Texo. David, sir. Thank you. David's going to be back next Thursday. Sarah, we're going to do, I don't know if you want in on this. We're going to do the Soel Moonfry thing with Depp and the Ryan White AIDS charity with Charlie Sheen. And we're going to talk about that. And Howard had the insensitive comments where he, with Princess Diana and Ryan White.
Yep.
So there's a whole
You
tie-in
take
on
that and run with it like Nick Chubb to the end zone against the Bengals.
Oh, and we're doing speaking of David, who wants in the fantasy league, the Radio Gunk Fantasy Football. I'm trying to make it to I don't like to do it too early because I want to let the rosters marinate. The injuries, you can draft too early and you get screwed. I like to wait till last second to do it. By last second, I mean a few days before, like the Saturday or Sunday before the Thursday night game. So I think, I don't know, Sarah, 14 teams or 16? If we
I
do,
would say 14.
Okay.
And
so 14 gives you a little wiggle room. 16, it locks you into at a certain point. There's too many injuries and you can't come back.
I haven't decided if I want to do it or if I actually want to enjoy a football season. So I won last season.
Yeah,
so
that was a great rule.
I may not want to embarrass myself by coming in last this year.
This is would you want to play it out, Sarah, with a banner or something? You want to play your Bon Jovial thing?
No.
No?
No.
You taking executive decision over that? You don't want to play the Bon Jovial out?
You play whatever you want to say goodbye.
I'm going to play the Bon Jovial outro that Sarah made of his to play you out, everyone. Everyone, this is Arm for Sarah saying, no time is a good time for goodbyes.
But goodbye.
We are magic.
Australia is a wonderful island with a treasure trove of unique plants, animals, and people.
That's a knife. It has to be protected.
Australia is free of many pests and diseases that are commonplace around the world.
That's a sign of aggression. You can see how she's got her mouth slightly ajar. She's got her teeth showing.
Declare everything when you enter Australia.
Got to let you know.